WNYathletics.com would like to thank today's sponsors. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Ready to sell your home? Visit howardhanna.com today. Howard Hanna. Home happens here. Western New York Immediate Care. With 4 convenient locations in the Buffalo area. Amherst, Buffalo, Depew, Lancaster, and Orchard Park. Western New York Immediate Care is now offering telemedicine services to provide you care anytime, anywhere. Visit WNY Immediate Care on-site or virtually at WNYimmediatecare.com. Logistics Plus Buffalo is your go-to resource for all your transportation needs. LP moves freight of all shapes and sizes all across the world. Call LP Buffalo today at 716-877-9653 or email buffalo@logisticsplus.com. AdPro Sports. AdPro is the largest team sports dealers and brand merchandise providers in the nation. For a variety of custom merchandise solutions, from apparel to promotional items, visit adprosports.com. Empire Electric. For all your home, business, or office electrical needs, call Empire Electric at 716-634-0330. Free estimates and financing available for all customers. Empire Electric. Call 716-634-0330.
Hey everybody, Francis Beck with Jack Cruiser. Welcome you into the Friday night final drive. The show that's one of a kind here in Western New York. You're going to be able to see high school football action from across the area in one show. And it's sort of, and we don't want to make it too high for you, but a little bit of a red zone style, I would say.
Yeah, good to be here on this Friday night. High school back in Western New York. Started out last night. We got a bunch of games on tap, 7 that we'll be bouncing between here on this live stream. So stay with us all throughout the evening. We'll keep you up to date on all scores and information from across not only Western New York, Francis, but tonight we're in Erie, Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah, we are down for that Lancaster, not Lancaster, that McDowell-Bennett game. You see Bennett coming off that run to the state final.
So Bennett, obviously that state final, we'll talk about that game first. Bennett goes on top first. They score to go up 8-0 over McDowell. That was the first drive of the game, a 40-yard reception in the air from Jaden Lewis. The Buffalo commit gets the Tigers on the board first. Right back the next drive, McDowell gets a score. 8-7 is the score currently in quarter number 1 there.
Yeah, let me pull up that game real quick. We can take a live look at that game. You can see on our screen Bennett McDowell. Let's see if we can pull in the audio. We have Norm Rodriguez and Tom Prince on the call.
And McDuffie's getting he was starting to go near the field again, but looks like play's going to resume shotgun formation. It's a fake handoff, and it's going to be a run by Moore. Breaks up 1 to the 5, and he gets it to about the 3-yard line. So good job on the fake sweep to Simmons and keeping it himself. So it's going to make it 2nd down and goal at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, great job. As you saw him, did a really good job of disguising the ball right there and then being able to take it around right to the outside. We've seen either team, if they can get to the outside, they make big things happen with both teams' speed right here.
So 2nd and goal at the 3. I think they're going to waste no time and get this one over to Simmons. And it's going to be a give. And he's going to get stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose a couple yards. One of the guys to slow him down was Damari Clemens.
Yeah, he was the first one in on the play. Great job. And that's a big stop right there. I mean, this is a long 3rd down right now, which gets people to start thinking, right, do I have to throw the ball versus a run? It gets you to think different things as far as strategy to be able to get in that end zone. The hardest place to score inside that red zone.
Oh, yeah, and McDowell, they're known to throw it just as well as run it. Even though they had over 400 rush yards, they still made their starting quarterback, Ben Moore. He threw for 228 yards in their victory last week over Wells Jesuits. So they do throw it, but a timeout's been called. So we'll take a quick break ourselves, but stick around for more action between McDowell and Bennett right here on WNY Athletics.
All right, we're back. You just saw that goal line stand there by over there. And what did they taking a timeout there?
Timeout, yeah, McDowell's going to talk about it. In the meantime, we'll give you some scoring updates across Western New York. Also in Pennsylvania, however, are the St. Joe's Marauders taking on Erie of PA. St. Joe's up 21-0 in the second quarter of that one. The Marauders rolling over Erie, PA. Francis, you're telling me that the size of Erie, Pennsylvania, the one school, is as if we added up all the Buffalo public schools together and put out a team. Well, first off, I'd say that team's pretty darn good. You can imagine the talent that Erie, PA has. But St. Joe's goes down there, and they're up early.
And this is a St. Joe's team that has been rebuilding. If you saw our Western New York athletics football report, Adam Gorski did a story. What is the state of St. Joe's? Coach Corona's been there for about 2 years. He started in that COVID year in the spring. And one of the big questions is, what is the state of St. Joe's? They had trouble getting wins last year, but this is a very good sign for Marauders fans. I think this shows. I'm a little shocked by this, to be honest. This is above my expectations. They are returning a lot of guys this year, but if you're a St. Joe's fan, you have to be happy your team is getting off to a good start, and who knows what that means for Monsignor Martin this year.
Henry Murphy, Aiden Anderson. I'm sorry, that's Dion Anderson and Gents with the 3 scores there, and a field goal attempt at Erie, PA, at McDowell, that is, for the Trojans. On 4th and 5 inside the red zone is good. That'll bring it within 4 points. The Tigers still on top.
6:18 left in the half. If you
Another score I'm seeing, East Aurora Hollins up 14-7 over Olean. And you mentioned the McKinley-Ken Maurice score. McKinley's up 8-0 over Ken Maurice. They're led, of course, by Tyrone Hughes. We're going to have a story on him in our football report in the coming weeks. He's a special player. He was the leading freshman last year in all of Section 6 in rushing. They bring back a lot of talent on that team, young talent from last year. I think they're going to make a big splash in that A2 division this year.
You're not just saying that as a Ken Maurice graduate?
No, I'm talking about McKinley.
Oh, McKinley, other side. McKinley, always a competitive team. Of course. Well, I've got a score here. Tonawanda at the end of 1 with Eden. The Warriors of Tonawanda on top 6-0 in that match, that game at Eden tonight. 6-0 the score after 1. We keep rolling.
Why don't we check a...
To cross midfield for the first time tonight. The Flames did so on their last drive. 1st and 10, and we'll call it the 38. Here's the snap. Green doing his dance, gets outside, and he is tripped up in the backfield, getting by the shoestring. Looking like the Flames, number 21, Thomas Orsini, the two-way player, and a big tackle from the Flames.
Yeah, that was tremendous pressure. I thought for a second he was he did that little stop and go, little stutter step. Unfortunately for the Billies, there was a host of other white shirts coming and finishing up the play.
2nd and 14 now for the Billies. Their own 33-yard line. The quick snap from Overcamp. It's deflected, incomplete, just out of the hands of Isaiah Duncan. Trying to look on the right side. Tight pressure coming from the Flames. Number 7, Michael Sokoli on the play. It'll be 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, I like the call. Outside, wide out, thrown to his outside. Unfortunately, a little bit high, but the play itself, a really safe play. A few more reps on that, and that's going to be a good 5-yard type play. We need about 5 yards to get that first down. Let's see what Joe has dialed up here.
So after the pressure from the free safety, Sokoli 3rd and 14. Overcamp takes his snap, fires over the middle, and holding on for the big-time catch, the big-time play from Nolan Holtz, the senior, hooking up from the sophomore.
Was that a beautiful catch? He put his arms out there, his hands, his arms extended. He must have hands the size of, much bigger than mine, because he there and held on for a nice reception.
A 15-yard hookup between Overcamp and Holtz. 1st and 10 for the Billies on their own 48-yard line, under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
And Joe, South is starting to get a little bit of rhythm to their offense. It's not been like machine-like, but when they've needed that play, they've gotten it. That's going to start stacking up in their favor as this game goes on, if they can keep that up.
Overcamp the handoff to Green. He is tripped up right away. Good play from Dorian Faison Jr. They lost about 3 yards all the way back to the Billies' 45. And it's so far, Paul, it seems the Billies, when they get that one big play, they somehow take a couple yards back.
One step forward, one step back. I just wanted to say how much I loved watching number 1.
Let me pull this back here. All right, we're back on our 8 screen, and we have another game that's going into the red zone. Jack, we're going to game 1, Southwestern and Iroquois. And let's pull in the audio.
First quarter.
Colin Wood and John Kinder on the call
10
down.
10 seconds to go in the quarter.
Southwestern.
Now Kennedy goes under center for Southwestern. Chris Miller split wide to the near side. And the handoff is to Knee, and he goes forward for about 3 yards, and he stopped just short of the first down. So 2 running plays right off the bat.
We're going to head back to our 8 screen right now. I think they're having some technical difficulties over there. So we pull that. Let's see. What else do we have going on here? Is it that game in Clarence? Let's try to pull game 8 up. That's Clarence OP. It looks like they're near the goal line. This one does not have any audio, but you can see on your screen here it is 7-6 Orchard Park in the second quarter, about 5.5 to go. Let's see. Oh, it looks like
Quakers.
Actually Orchard Park just scored. So Quakers just scored 13-6, and they're now lining up for the extra point. See that in there. Orchard Park, of course, they bring back quarterback Ben Gosella, who was the most prolific passer in all of Section 6 last year, along with Dylan Evans, who was the second for his team, but the 4th overall in the section. They lose Keegan Machiavelli, who was the number 1 receiver, but Dylan Evans, again, didn't have a bad year. He's actually getting looks to play college at the next level, so he is primed for a big year this year. So good start for the Quakers. Remember, Clarence is an A1 this year, so this is a non-league game. But, of course, still, you want to get that first win of the season in week 1. Looks like, why don't we stay here while they try it? Looks like maybe there was a penalty on the play, so maybe they're going to go for 2. All right, they're going to go for 2, Jack.
Orchard Park gaining that yardage on the penalty. Inside the 5 at the 2. Handoff inside. Well, everyone there ends up in the end zone. Orchard Park goes up by 8.
All right, let's head back. So Orchard Park is now up 15-6. Let's head back to our 8 screen.
That's 9, rather. Just tested the old math skills. Going up with that missed extra point from Clarence earlier in the game. Hurts them a little bit here, now down 2 scores.
All right, let's see. Where do we want to go next, Jack? You know what? Why don't we go to game number 6? That's Grand Island and Maritime. It looks like
Maritime up 6-0 to start that one off.
It looks like Grand Island has the ball right up against. Oh,
perhaps a safety, and it will be.
Yeah, it's a safety for Maritime.
8-0 lead to start the game for Western New York Maritime. That's a Class A3 division. That's a divisional game in Week 1, so a big game early in the season. You don't see many of those Week 1 starts where you're playing teams within your division, but definitely crucial in the long run.
And, you know, and that's a game, this is a game where Maritime has won the last 3 titles in Class B, and now they're moving up to Class A. I talked to Coach Parker on that first day of practice. He was like, you know, we're up for the challenge. There's maybe some little controversy about whether they should be up there or not. Not going to talk about that. But he said, you know what? We're up for the challenge. We're ready to play. And there's no reason, with all the talent this team brings back and what they've been able to do, they can't win this A3 division and be a force to be reckoned with in Class A.
On the other side of that, Grand Island with 10 overall returners this year, still looking to bounce back, even though they had a 7-2 season last year, and they've built a steady program over there with their head coach, who's been there for 21 years, in Dean Santorio.
Oh, we're going to pull in this Lancaster game. It looks like we had just big play from the Legends, who are up 10-7, 1:27 left in the second quarter.
Luckily, here in the Western New York Athletics studio, we can hear the excitement from 2 doors down. Jake Fyock over there on the call. That will be on tape delay here. 10 o'clock, you can tune in on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube to see our broadcast of this Lancaster Legends game you see on your screen now.
And it looks like that play is being called back as they're walking back. So all that excitement for nothing.
Well, you get to see the officials stretch the legs a little bit there. Just about approaching the halftime mark there. So that play negated for Lancaster could be a bit of a break for their opponents in Jamestown.
All right, let's head to game 1. I think this is the old game. Let's go back to this one here, the Lancaster game here. I think we're having some troubles with that Southwestern Iroquois. That may be an old game that they're using to fill it up. So hopefully they'll take care of that soon. We'll get a check on that in a little bit. But as you can see Lancaster on – looks like 2nd and 9, run up the middle, not for much. Let's head to game 2, Will South, Will East. The Billies have it. Looks like they have it inside their own 40. They're driving. Why don't we take a listen in?
Gets a 35, still on his feet, still moving to the 30, and another big chunk. Overcamp and Danny Peoples establishing some chemistry early on in game number 1.
Yeah, you know, Peoples, I just been loving his the way he's stretching out, getting that ball, getting it tucked in quickly, and again on that run, lean forward, makes that first contact, then run after contact. He picked up a good 8 yards there. Just that body lean and the willingness to take the hit and move forward.
Short yardage play coming up, 2nd and 6 on the Flames' 29-yard line. Overcamp takes a snap. He gets pressured and dropped down by a ragdoll. The big pressure coming from the Flames. Charles Smith, a sack on the play.
Now, I don't know what that defense is called, but I'd call it a cannon, because Smith came just on the snap. He was already probably going 90% of his speed. Just a fast young man, and just blew up that play.
Smith, the junior linebacker, part of that base 4 defense for Coach Torello, and it will bring up 3rd and long again. This time at the 36-yard line, 3rd and 13 for the Billies. 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Fired up crowd here on the campus of South. Overcamp the snap, a low pass, getting to the outside. Receiver making the move. Jason Green on the outside. And a couple yards back and another 4th down play. 30 seconds exactly left in quarter number 1.
So, you know, Joe, I was just thinking, well, we've given Joe his props for his offensive brilliance, and good for him, right? I'm thinking Mike Torello, seasoned coach. He's brought a couple blitz packages at the right time. So that push for offense countered by that blitzing on defense. Both of them could get you burned, or both of them could turn into big plays.
4th and 12 coming up for the Billies at the Flames 35. It has worked a couple times on this drive, Paul, able to extend the chains. Let's see what they do now. Overcamp the snap. He fires on the right side.
Will South continues to drive down the field at home against the Flames of Will East. McDowell down in Pennsylvania has entered the red zone against the Bennett Tigers. They're looking to take their first lead on the day here. Bennett scoring first in this one. They were up 8-0. McDowell came close, made it 8-7. Bennett up 14-7, and then McDowell bringing it within 4. Now inside the red zone.
Oh, it actually looks like Bennett has the ball on their own 20.
We'll take that all back. So it was a punt we saw on the small screen. Thought it was a big catch, but instead just a punt. So I take it back. Apologies, folks. Still week 1.
Yeah, we're still getting used to this new system here, so we apologize for that. But we hope you're having fun at home watching us. If you're not watching your own game, you're tuning into us, watching us pull off these 8 screens. Why don't we take a look back and see if anything else is going on. It looks like there might be an injury over in that Lancaster, the Clarence and Orchard Park game on your screen. So on that note, Jack, why don't you take us to break?
Yeah, all right. Well, we're going to step aside, and we will have plenty more scoring updates. We've got one from East Aurora, Holland, that we'd like to get to you, and as well as Tonawanda and Eden. We're going to have those scoring updates right after this, right here on Western New York Athletics.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Final Drive. That break caught us a little bit by surprise. Still getting used to the new system up here. Friday Night Final Drive, for those of you just tuning in, this is sort of a red zone style thing. I can show you our 8-screen preview. We have 8 games going right now that are being pulled up. Either they're on Western New York Athletics or they're on another feed happening right now. And why don't we take a look at live in the Medina game is at halftime, but we'll take a picture from it from the field right now as they get ready for the second half.
So the Mustangs walk into the locker room. I don't know, Francis, are you happy with a 7-7 tie as the Mustangs and Newfane Panthers head to the half? The Mustangs coming off their Class C championship last year, undefeated season through their time at the stadium. They took down what was an undefeated Fredonia team at that time in one of the better games of the weekend. at the stadium. So Medina, they lose a couple seniors, but they've still got some starters returning. Noah Skinner, one of those main starters, and a running back tonight already through first half of play, 76 rushing yards he's got, along with 47 through the air. Pitts is 7 for 8 passing as the new quarterback takes over for Xander last year. So we'll see how that team readjusts in the second half. But Medina, high expectations, and they started out with a C North divisional battle.
Yeah, but you mentioned it. They do lose a couple of guys from last year's team, Xander Payne being one of them, Connolly Cup finalist last year. But Newfane's going to be no slouch either. This team returning 5 starters on both sides of the ball, including Ethan Boyer and Nate Snow, key contributors this year from last year's team. So this team is primed to, I guess, have a rebound year. After a 4-4 year, they're going to try to make a run for playoffs in C North, and I think it starts with seeing if they can knock off a team like Medina, or at least give them a game like they are right now, and showing we mean business in the C North division.
Well, folks, we've got a full slate of games tomorrow on Western New York Athletics. We'll preview that a little bit here. Lew-Port at Lackawanna, Wilson at CSP, North Tonawanda, West Seneca West, Randolph at Salamanca, Lockport at Hamburg, Pioneer at Depew. All of those games streamed right here on Western New York Athletics tomorrow. So be sure to tune in throughout the day and get your fix of high school sports in Buffalo and the Western New York region.
Let's see. Why don't we jump into game number 6? It looks like we have Grand Island has the ball right at midfield.
Last we saw here, it was 8-0. It still stands at 8-0 for Maritime.
Looks like there was a pass to midfield that was complete about 10, 15 yards. Ball will be spotted at the 50. Again, believably this camera isn't manned, so just bear with us. Most of these cameras aren't manned, so you just have to watch. It takes a second sometimes for the camera motion to go back. But again, as you mentioned, 8-0. There we go. So ball's going to be on the Maritime 45 in this game. 3:32 to go in the second quarter.
Folks, these cameras show you just why we need live cameramen in sports, and why these robot cameras aren't necessarily the way of the future, though they're nice to have for games like this at Grand Island that we get to tune into and see what's going on while we don't have a crew there this week. But definitely a sign towards pay your cameraman and make sure you keep them around. Folks like Russ Battaglia, BJ Stack, they do a fine job, and we like to keep them happy. So
BJ Stack or BJ Novak?
Well, we did have BJ Novak last night at Lakeshore, a little slip up there mentally, but it was all in good fun. This Grand Island team, however, they're looking to capitalize here on this opportunity. Francis, what can you tell me about this Grand Island program, and what are they looking to do this year over in the A class?
This Grand Island team, they always have a strong offensive line. They always have a strong line at Grand Island. You could never say that. And this team is never bad. They're always solidly coached. Dean Sorrentino does a great job. They're losing Brian Bielek, one of their big fullbacks and running backs last year. He was the heartbeat of that team. They also lose Justin Horvath, but they return Sean Messmer, Mac Rizzo, Doug Crowley, Braden Wallets, Mike Christensen, David Still, and and as I mentioned, Dean Sorrentino is going to get the most out of these guys. 6 offensive starters returning. 6 offensive starters returning on this team, 4 on defense. They went 7-2 last year. This team is going to be just fine this year, Jack. They're certainly going to compete in that A3 division.
Last we saw, St. Joe's still up 21-0 over Erie, PA.
Looks like we have Eden is up 13-6 over Tonawanda. We have 17 minutes ago, McKinley leading Kenmore 16-6 midway through the second quarter of that game. East Aurora Holland up 14-7 over Olean. So those are some of the scores we're starting to get in here tonight. Let me take a quick look through. Oh, we have a Portville score right now. Portville is up over Allegheny Limestone 14-0. That's Sam Wilson down in the southern tier giving us that score there. Let's pull up here. Let's see what else we have going on in our games. It looks like the Lancaster game is at halftime. That's game number 3. Let's quickly just see that score. So 10-7, Lancaster. They're at halftime. You can see the band is out on the field. They have one of the best marching bands in all of Western New York.
You're talking about seeing the scoreboard. Well, I'm not looking at the scoreboard at all on this one. 10-7 is a snooze fest, as far as I'm concerned, at Lancaster. For this game specifically, probably playing to the hands of Jamestown, though, only down by 3 at the half, Francis.
But you got to remember, Jamestown's a team. They're coming off a sectional title. They're back with Trey Drake. A lot of expectations on him this year to perform. But you got to remember, he doesn't have his running back, Jalen Butera, who won the Connolly Cup last year. It's now Drake's offense. Maybe he's just got to get used to it. Of course, Lancaster's a tough team to start out with. It's a non-leaguer, so that's good news for you Lancaster fans, or for you Jamestown fans. It's only, but a lot's to be expected on Trey Dragon. But I would look for him to have a big second half.
On the flip side, though, you can talk about Jamestown as a positive with a non-league game at Lancaster, 10-7 at the half. If Jamestown can pull out a victory here, that's a big credential booster moving down. Hey, you beat one of the biggest and baddest teams in Western New York if they take down Lancaster today without their star running back as well. And, we heard that he'll be out for quite a while. I heard earlier Mark Johnson, the radio voice of the Legends, was saying that he's probably out until the Canisius game, if not later, throughout this season. So Lancaster has their hands full clearly in the first half, up only by 3. But every team, of course, in week 1, figuring things out. You can talk about what a team had last year, what they're returning this year. Even if you're bringing back all but one player, you still have to change and adjust, and there's differences that go into every team throughout the postseason as we go to Williamsville South, and a deep shot toward the end zone that will fall incomplete. Still looking for the first score in that one. No score midway through the second quarter. Joe Kraus on the call with Paul Catrona there. Will throw it to them.
Of that situation, the defensive back for East really had his body turned 45-degree angle, running perfectly, watching the throw. It would have taken a miraculous throw to just drop it in the bucket. That one's a little more of a torpedo. Now you get to play for another down.
Peoples going one-on-one with number 8, Kenny Stinson, the senior corner for the Flames. Short yardage play coming up. Short yardage opportunity, I should say. 3rd and 4 at the East 24-yard line. 7:29 left in the second quarter. Overcamp takes the snap, now swings to the left side, and he connects with Peoples. Falls on his back at the 15-yard line. A good hookup.
That looks like a first down, right?
Yes, it will.
Yep.
Gain of 9 on the play, and the Billies continue, Paul, to keep moving those chains.
Again, interesting. The defensive backs are still in a little bit of a soft zone. Coach Licata's been noticing that. A lot of these little 5-yard throws, but when you get those, that's 5 yards to the plus, right? And then that can open up a quick trap. That could open up going a little bit deeper. Now, of course, they're pressuring here, so they're in the red zone. It won't be that deep of a throw, but still, it will open it up.
Green takes a snap under center. Takes himself on the right side, cross the side to 10, going right behind the right side of his offensive line. It is R.J. Peoples, Ethan Pantera clearing the space for Green.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the number 14 on South. He was trying to get a little kick out, really turn block, push him back in. Didn't quite do it, so that Holden, he wanted to get around the edge, in other words. So the hole opened up inside instead. He just jumped right in, got a nice gain.
Radio. Okay, let's jump in. We just got an update. OP's up 15-6. Clarence just scored, but Orchard Park blocked the extra point, and I'm told that it was a good friend of ours. You were talking about during break. Tom Prince's son, Luke, blocked it.
Well, there you go. Luke Prince, of course, is stud center for
Have
that
you met
Orchard
him
Park
before?
team. Oh, yeah, he's a mammoth of a human being. We're just talking about, and you'll see later on in this broadcast potentially, that this Bennett McDowell crew that we've got, Norm Rodriguez and Tom Prince on the call. Norm makes Tom Prince look like he's 5'7", $180. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. But Tom's son, a big body. He can move well. How about a deep shot for Clarence there? Was it brought down in the red zone? Are we heading into the red territory for Clarence? But
no, but wait, we're going to go back. We have a game going into the red zone right now. It looks like there's a flag.
Will South and Will East
against the Bellies.
3rd and 3.
So I saw everybody move on, on the south side other than the center. There had to be a little miscommunication.
At Will South.
In the old days when my dad was, he's very particular about his football, he'd say, didn't they give the center the snap
quarterback and star
everybody else was
New
moving.
York like that to run your program.
3rd and 8 coming up.
Joe Kraus on the call with Paul
line.
Catrona.
Peoples motion to the right side. Green takes the snap. He rolls out on his back foot, fires, and the pass is incomplete. Billy's looking that time for Nolan Holtz on the play. And the only defender in the vicinity was Reed Siaka, number 33.
And then at the end of the play, he was actually the closest to the ball. I was thinking the play was maybe try to clear out that left zone, try to throw it to a spot, and hopefully get your guy there. It just didn't quite connect.
4th and 8 now coming up for the Billies on the East 14-yard line. Overcamp back under center. Lawson Nab ready to give him the snap. Overcamp moves back into his position in the shotgun. Fires, putting up a prayer, and the pass is waiting for the call. The pass is incomplete. Did appear that Josh Neely had that with the one-hand grab.
He it, and I didn't quite see the East player's number, but just what I would refer to as a great scrape tackle. So he's coming in, he's in motion, he's got his hands up. It's going to be a touchdown, but somebody came with that little scraper your mom would do, clean out the bowl with, scraped it right out of there.
So another turnover on downs, but arguably the best drive of the night for the Phillies.
Difficult, can it, Francis?
No, it really can, and I mean, this is why you schedule games like this to prepare you for the state playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Lancaster isn't the team they usually are. A lot of AA isn't quite what it was in the past few years, and if you're a team like Bennett with high expectations, because they brought in it isn't just like they're bringing back the guys from last year. They've also brought in a couple transfers, some Canisius, some other players. They have a couple of new skill guys on the outside, couple of new running backs. And so they really need these games where expectations are high for Bennett to go all the way.
A minute to go in the Clarence game against Orchard Park. The Quakers, after a Luke Prince play, gave them the ball back. 15-6 is the score there with Orchard Park on top. 55 seconds you see on the clock. Quakers driving in the red zone now. Just to continue talking about that Bennett team, I shouldn't say this won't be the toughest game they have. In a couple weeks, they'll travel to Ohio to take on Austintown Fitch. That'll be their other non-league game out of state. In between those is this Clarence team. Next week, that game will be at All-High Stadium Friday at 7. So Clarence looking to take care of business this week against Orchard Park, and their lives don't get any easier next week. But right now, they're backed up in their own end. Inside the 20-yard line, the handoff up the middle. No one's going to touch the running back into the end zone. It is a touchdown. Orchard Park adds on another 6.
Yeah, just a great play up the middle. Blocking was there. Blocking the line was something they struggled with in their final game against Bennett. Granted, that Bennett line is something special, but line was definitely a question mark for this Quakers team. So it's good to see they're getting their running game going a little bit in this first game against Clarence.
Medina and Newfane just kicked off in half number 2. We'll keep it locked in here for the extra point from Orchard Park. Looks to be good. The official signal indicates it was 22-6 now. The score in favor of the Quakers.
Jack, why don't we check on our 6th game, the Vikings and Maritime.
Western New York Maritime also on the schedule, the Bennett Tigers. Don't want to be talking about them all night, but they do schedule some of the best teams in Western New York in preparation of that state playoff tournament. So just about 7 seconds remaining in the first half between the Grand Island Vikings and Western New York Maritime Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like Falcons have an 8-0 lead. Looks like there was a punt in that game.
An update from East Aurora Holland. Olean, who was down 14-7, they're up 21-14 now at the half. So that game heads to halftime.
All right, we're going to game 2 where it looks like, a pick 6. Look at that. Pick 6 all the way. We try to pull up who that is on our rosters, but a great pick 6. Linebacker over the middle made the interception and had daylight all the way to the end zone. Put the first score of that game in.
Tommy Orsini, the cornerback on the play. He's a linebacker, really. He's in the middle of the field, makes the play, takes it 55 yards back to the house. Will East, the first score in the game. Nearly 3 minutes left in the first half. We'll see what Joe Licata can draw up after this kick to see if the Billies can march down and tie it before the break.
It looks like on our we just noticed in our preview screen, Maritime and the Vikings have gone to halftime, so it's 8-0 Falcons over in that game.
Eden and Tonawanda also at the half. That game 13-6. They're just coming out of that one.
Yeah, why don't we head to the Lancaster game? I'll pull it up. It's 10-7 Legends right now. Lancaster has the ball on about their own 35.
Another scoring update. St. Joe's down in Erie, Pennsylvania. They score another one. It's 27-7 now as the Marauders have a 20-point lead over Erie just 4 minutes ago at halftime. Marauders up by 20.
I'm going to be honest. And I'm not trying to be too mean to the St. Joe's folks out there, but that's probably one of the most eye-popping scores of the night right now. We had no idea what to expect from St. Joe's. They've been struggling the past few years, but they return a lot, and right now they're off to a big start on one of the better teams, I would say, in Pennsylvania, or usually a team that's traditionally one of the best teams out there, because we mentioned they usually have, I guess we would call giant beds. They have a lot of kids to choose from, and they're doing really well. Very good sign for the folks on Kenmore Avenue.
7-0 the score. Williamsville East over Will South. Lancaster up by 3 over Jamestown. This is a rookie quarterback for Jamestown taking over this year as well. First game of the year for a new quarterback. You like to see a close game, and without that star running back behind him, you look to see what that offense can build off of here in the second half.
Oh, we're going to game 2.
Will South.
To the Flames 43-yard line. He is finally tripped up by the Flames. Brandon Jewell, the kicker, and a big return for Jason Green. He is first game with the Billies.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful run. I think he's going to see it on film. I'm not going to say anything was wrong. It was a beautiful run, great decisions. I would have liked to see him just at the end run for the keep coming at that angle, he might have been able to cut it. But you know what? Football. Big play there, big play here. You know, you made yours. We're going to answer with ours, and let's see where it takes us. So here's hoping on the Billy side, they'll get the tying score, and then on the east side, of course, they're going to try to clamp it down now.
Billy's with 3:27 to play in the opening half. Trips to the left side. Now cutting over is Neely. Going all the way to the outside. Another motion, now a snap. Overcamp steps up, fires over the middle. The pass is incomplete, looking for Josh Neely, but it's a little too much that time from Caden Overcamp, the sophomore.
Yeah, don't you love it though? Great play fakes. You're faking the run to the left. You're faking the reverse coming back at you. Set down, pop up. Maybe a little more arc. That's 6 points, but that's going to make the Flames think, a little bit here and there. Hey, what are these guys going to do next?
And the thing that Coach Licata told us, Paul, is Caden wants to be great at the quarterback position. There can never be a question of effort, and they're seeing it. And he makes the play to Peoples inside to the 25. And he has the defender on his tail. Kenny Stinson, a first down play. Gain of about 18.
And like a lot of great players too.
We'll stay with this Will East, Will South for a little bit, but I wanted to make a quick note here. Jason Green just transferred into Will South the first day of the season, of the first day of practices. He was the quarterback at Lockport last year. Put up some pretty good numbers. I believe he was a top 5, top 10 passer, and early in the season, he was getting some serious Conley Cup consideration for all the numbers he was putting up at Lockport. He had some really good receivers that I know that went to the next level, but that was a big pickup for the Billies to start out the season and start out the Joe Licata reign.
It's got to help when you got Joe Licata coming in to help out a young quarterback with a promising future.
Yeah, and I know he had worked with him a little bit in the over the summer, his Joe Licata football camp. So that's going to be a big piece for Joe to, work with guys in the off season, especially more of the younger guys, and see if he can pull a couple kids, get him to come to South. We have to admit his name is a big draw, and he's going to have to use that. And part of that, a part of being a football coach sometime is you got to get kids out there. Sometimes you got to dig in for different teams. It's different for different schools. You have to do a little more of that, like in Monsignor Martin, for example. But,
you look at a team like Bennett that's done it this year, pulling kids from other schools, private schools. St. Francis, they pull a player off of. Like, it's possible to bring in those kids from other public schools and other private schools that can transfer into your program. Don't ask me how they do it legally, but they do it, and it works out for these teams. Will South, though, what leads to those kids wanting to play for your program? It's not just the head coach and his name. It's the success that follows that. It's if Will South can put together a few winning seasons, we see him at the stadium once or twice, then it's a name. The brand is back. The Horns are relevant in the conversation of championship football in Western New York, and that's the future of this program, at least what Joe Licata hopes to see. 3rd and 13 here inside Will East territory. Will South looking to equalize things, and they've put together a nice drive here. Big return that started it off. Throw to the left side will be incomplete, so a tough decision here now, 4th and 13.
Did Will South just change quarterbacks? I swore the quarterback was wearing 16 before. Oh, that's on page 2. That's why.
Very good territory, and true to what they told us.
Well, that's the sophomore.
Okay.
Caden Overcamp is wearing number 16, so perhaps a change now to Jason Green.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe they've been going back and forth. I didn't know what Jason Green's number was going to be. I assumed he was just 16, but now number 3's in, so that's Green. So you can see what he's doing with 4th and 13. Why don't we tune into Jack and Paul for this play?
We had that happening in Buffalo.
That's right, the old days of Jack Kemp
and Daryl Monica.
1:46 to play. Overcamp steps up, tucks the ball, crosses the 25, and goes out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. Getting pressured at that time from Siaka. A good chunk, but a turnover on downs for the Billies. 1:37 left.
So a turnover on downs for Williamsville South. 4th and 13. They weren't able to come up with the first down as the sophomore quarterback, Caden Overcamp, ran to his left, just couldn't get there in time. Now McDowell and Bennett we head to.
And it looks like there was a turnover on downs by Bennett, and it'll look like McDowell has the ball. So they have the ball right now on their own 26-yard line. You can see on your screen, little run to the outside. Oh, running back made a nice play to get away. Nice effort, though, by the defensive end. A big tackle there. I would not want to be tackled by number 50. That didn't look fun.
I wouldn't want to be tackled by a lot of players on this Bennett team. They got D1 athletes all over the place. They've got – Coach claims he's got a player that ran a 4.3 40 time. I think NFL teams would like to see that. At this point, perhaps Brandon Bean has given Coach McDuffie a call. If not, I'd be questioning what we're doing there with the Bills.
Well, I think at least a few college coaches.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why don't we
another run? Yeah, let's go in
run.
live. Norm and Tom on the call.
Few yards out of it. It was 2nd down and 2 at the 34, so it was an 8-yard run by Simmons. And it looks like there's someone down with the cramps. He's trying to get up, but having some trouble.
And that was Perry and Land on the tackle right there. And I think that's who's down right there. I think that's Peterson. Do you see 8 standing up? I think that's
The officials, the back judge, called it interception. The front judge comes running in there, marking yes, interception, because we quite sure.
Daniel Peoples with the interception, lays out for the catch.
Man, that was a catch. I mean, it was tipped. He was going the other way, and then he somehow stretched out to make that play. I couldn't do that, Jack. I think it might break something if I attempted that.
That's a captain's play right there. And Peoples, one of 4 captains on this Will South team. The senior DB lays out for it, and that's a big turnover in a big-time moment late in the first half. And a screen pass out to the right side will pick up about 7 yards on 1st and 10. They've got just about 100 seconds here to work with, so we'll see what Will South can do. Let's go Joe and Paul on the call.
To the final minute of quarter number 2.
Loved holds, got that first contact, yards after contact, tackled by 2 players, and of course we see his helmet pop off. I always love when I see those helmets pop off. I go, wow, that kid's a football player. He's not even playing with a helmet.
After the hookup, 2nd and 5 coming up at the East 35-yard line. 40 seconds and ticking. Delayed snap, then up the middle. Looks like Green on the carry, the QB keeper, but he is denied up front that time by Zaid Al-Nasser, number 78, right in the middle of that Flames defensive line.
Yeah, I think Coach was looking to see if he could catch them a little off guard. Quick opener in the middle and try to pop it. East was ready for that though.
Billy's called timeout. 31 seconds remaining in the first half. We're going to step aside for just a quick break, and we'll be back with the rest of the quarter after this break.
It goes out of bounds. It looked like it landed around the 35-yard line.
Did you see what the assistant coach
he
said
went
for
it. Yeah. Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies here.
He literally, that was awesome. So the play obviously went out of bounds, and he took it and pretended he was running into the end zone. It was, what a great little play right there. That was funny.
So I'm looking at it, looks like it's at the 39.
We go to Medina. Newfane was in the red zone, and then a turnover. Or perhaps the other way. Medina was in their own territory over at the 10-yard line. An interception gives the Newfane Panthers the ball in offensive territory in the red zone at the 10. Man in motion from the slot on the left. The handoff inside. Medina's D-line gets there first. That D-line was crucial in the sectional championship run last year. They return a few players on both sides of the ball over in C North.
Looks like that's going to bring up 3rd and about 3 yards. Let's take a look. We have some more scores in. A halftime, McKinley leading Kenmore East 16-6. And then another halftime score, East Aurora Holland 21-14 over Olean. Olean's up 21-14 over East Aurora Holland.
So I loved it. It's what I would have done. Go for it. Go for the gusto.
It's a first and goal for the Billies. After that interception we saw Peoples made, turn the ball over with just over a minute to go. On a third down, the Billies convert. They're getting it done in the nick of time here and a timeout. Joe Licata wants to draw something up. 16 seconds left in a 7-0 ball game. Every point so crucial. At this point, you can hope they can get 3 as we see a replay of what got him here. A deep play on third down. What a play again by Peoples. Well, he doesn't have to stand and make any catch here today. It's a laying out dive for the both on this drive.
Yeah, you know, I remember I spoke to him on the first day of practice. He's actually kind of a soft-spoken guy, but he clearly lets his actions do all the work. And it looks like we have a field goal in game number 5. Let's go there.
Newfane's attempt from the right hash. No good. So we remain 7-7, Newfane and Medina. Head back to Will South for this game against the Will East Flames. A bit of a rivalry between South and East, you would assume.
Just a bit.
Their hockey game got a wee bit chippy earlier last year, and I know from prior experience, the basketball games are the same, as are basically any sport between these two. Even the non-contact ones can get a little physical. Baseball and softball will. Lancaster and Jamestown rather seem to have some action going on there as well, but we'll stay here at Will South inside the 5. This game, the late starting one here today, so not at halftime yet. The final 16 seconds, we'll keep it here.
Snap, he turns left now on his back foot. The pass is incomplete. Looking for Peoples, but tight pressure coming from behind from the Flames. Looking this time from Kenny Stinson.
Yeah, and Peoples took one step. He hit the dirt, although it's turf. But in any case, that ball went sailing past him.
13 seconds. Second and goal at the East 5.
And really, we took 5 seconds off the clock. Plenty of time.
Billy's trying to get on the board. Overcamp takes a snap. He rolls to his right. The pass to the corner is caught, and a big play for the touchdown.
Beautiful play, right, Joe? Just a little roll to the right. In my day, we'd call it a down and out. I'm not quite sure what we're calling it right now, but it's just basically a 7-yard out and thrown with pace, on point. 1, 2, 3, go. And then he goes for the touchdown, 1 point down.
Caden Overcamp is pass from 5 yards out to Chris Pierce, a 5'11 junior. Extra point on the way, the kick. And it is good for Josh Neely, and this crowd has erupted. Caden Overcamp with his first touchdown pass of his Phillies career to Chris Pierce. We're not at 7. 8 seconds remaining.
7-7 the score now. Will South and Overcamp march down in a minute, and they score in the nick of time.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna.
And Medina, who remain tied at 7 as well. Some of the higher scoring games so far today, Orchard Park and Clarence. Last we saw them, it was 22-6. Let's check in on that game. Orchard Park and Clarence, nothing doing there in halftime, 22-6. Lancaster had a bit of commotion in the Jamestown match that they had.
Yes, it looks like Orchard Park's up 22-6. Yeah, let's check up that. Let's go to game 3 right now. That is Lancaster and Jamestown.
So the Legends did score there 16-7. Now they were up 10-7 at the half. Now just 5 minutes remain in quarter number 3.
Let's go back to our 8 screen. Any other action happening right now? Why don't we head back to the Medina game? We saw that missed field goal earlier, and right now there's a big run for the Mustangs. They get inside almost to the 30 right now.
That's Noah Skinner on the carry there. He had a big role again in their team last year, sticking with the starters, 12 returning, 6 on offense, 6 on defense. Good to have a balance, though, Francis. Though I must ask you, when it comes to returning starters, obviously it depends on who the players are. But if you're a head coach, Francis, are you happier if you've got more returning offensive or defensive starters at the high school level?
I would go with offensive just because offense is so much about rhythm, where defense is about reaction, getting to play reaction, where offense is about the rhythm, and you can build up that rhythm.
Well, speaking of rhythm, the Bennett Tigers are in one here, deep inside McDowell territory. The Tigers knocking on the door, up by 1, looking to expand on their lead. Let's go down to Pennsylvania with Tom Prince and Norm Rodriguez on the call.
Can get me right there. Absolutely.
3rd down and 3 at the 4. It's going to be another handoff, and they got him. Stopped him around the line of scrimmage. One of the guys I saw that helped out with the tackle was Philip Schweitzer.
Yeah, there were a couple guys that were big in on that one. But you're absolutely right. Philip was one of the first one that was there, no doubt.
And you bet your bottom dollar that they're going to go for it here on 4th and goal. Yep. And if they don't get it to the 1, they do pin McDowell on their own end. So this would not be a terrible situation should Bennett not convert this.
Well, but you're giving still a huge momentum to McDowell.
True.
Because we – what are you going to come up with to do something a little bit different because McDowell
outside of when the game was at 0-0. Back to Norm and Tom.
And he didn't get it. It looked like he got stopped at around the 2. I think he got short of the 1st down. And from the fans' reaction, I think that they agree. I think he didn't get it.
I'm looking to see the spot, right? Because they're
looked like he got to the 2. They had to get to the 1. Turnover on downs.
There you go.
So a big stop there for McDowell, and it's another chance, a reprieve here for
big step
McDowell
up for McDowell there, and that's
game.
Something Bennett's going to need to learn. They can't
well.
always
They're
just. It's not going to be as easy. You can't just rely on, hey, we have Rashad Perry. He can move any human.
He can.
But there's yeah. But as you said, he can't move 5. He can't move 4. And I think that's kind of what they learned in that state championship game last year. You saw, when we were there, we saw Perry win his battle. It was kind of the rest of the line who kind of struggled winning their man. And that's ultimately kind of what cost them a little bit, is that they couldn't win those other battles.
In the end zone, shotgun snap is going to be a keeper, and gets it to about the 5, maybe the 6-yard line. So
why don't we go back to our 8 screen right now, see what else is happening.
Second down.
As I turn that audio off, there you can see our 8 games going on. Why don't we see what's going on in our Maritime Grand Island game?
Still 8-0 there. The Falcons of Western New York Maritime Health Sciences defensively line up as Grand Island looks to get the first score for them on the day. The Vikings, plenty of great athletic programs up there on the island. The football team looking to continue after a good year last year, 7-2 up in A. This a conference game for the two teams, Grand Island and Maritime, both in A3. A couple of conference games here today. That Will South, Will East game within A, but A2 and A3. A being the largest of the three of the classes this year. Plenty of teams bumping down from AA that really just they add so much talent. It almost buries the teams at the middle and the bottom of A that you forget about. The Sweet Homes and the Kenmore Wests that are playing tonight as well. We'll try to get an update for you on those games as soon as we can. But just talk about the dearth of offense and defense and plethora of talent in Class A this year, Francis.
I mean, you talk about that Kenmore West Sweet Home game. We have Jermaine Atkins, who we've barely talked about. Let me tell you, this guy put up almost 1,000 yards in 4 games. At running back. He literally started the year wide receiver. They had, I think they had some issues with their starting lineup. They told him, Coach Haynes went, hey, we need you to go to running back. He's like, okay. Goes to running back, sets a school record in his first game, runs for 7 touchdowns, and continues on. And, he ran something like 900 yards in 4 games. Imagine if he doubles that.
Is that good?
He becomes close to doubling that.
Unbelievable. Is that good, Coach? Should I stay at running back? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Coach Haynes knows what he's doing. If Jermaine Atkins is starting at running back this year on game 1. We're not waiting till game 4 for that one.
So Kenmore West and Sweet Home will get a scoring update for you there as soon as we can, but it's 8-0 still with Western New York Maritime leading Grand Island. Let's go to Lancaster if we can, as they've got Jamestown on deck, our 3rd game on there, as we've got the Legends marching into the offensive territory of Jamestown. You see that Jamestown defense swarming to the ball quickly. No lack of legs on either side of the ball there. Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
And, we kind of mentioned how Bennett is supposed to learn something from the McDowell game. Jamestown, high expectations from them. You're playing up. You better learn a lot from this game. Getting hit in the mouth a little bit. They're down a couple scores in this 3rd quarter. Hopefully, if they can't get a win, maybe it's something where Coach Langworthy can use this as a learning tool. Hey, not every game is going to be easy. You're going to have to play a full game here from now on, and maybe that makes them stronger as they go back into A for their league schedule.
Still 21-14, Olean and East Aurora Holland. Iroquois and Southwestern playing last we saw was 17-7 at the half. We'll see where they're at.
We have another update. Touchdown, Allegheny Limestone. It was junior quarterback Michael Frederick scrambles for a 10-yard touchdown. Gators take advantage of a short field after a 70-yard kick return. Portville cuts into Portville's lead. It's now 21-6, 3:12 to go. Panthers ahead in that one. Thanks again to Sam Wilson down from the Southern Tier. I forget who he writes for.
Folks,
try to pull him. He writes for, I believe he's there for Salamanca Press. Yeah, so good friend Sam Wilson from Salamanca Press. You know what? Frank's the Southern Tier guy. Frank keeps track of my Southern Tier guys for it. I apologize to my Southern Tier guys. Any complaints, go to Frank.
Well, Frank's down there in the Southern Tier tonight. Iroquois at Southwestern. He's at that game. Again, last we saw was 17-7. The Chiefs on top over the Trojans. 16-7 Lancaster as the 3rd quarter winds down there. We'll head over to Bennett McDowell as they've got some commotion going on there.
Oh, we're going to 6.
Beg your pardon. So we're going back to Grand Island.
Oh, there was a...
There you go. Western New York Maritime adds on to their lead, up 14-0 now as they await the extra point after a pick six from the defense of the Falcons. This Western New York Maritime team, talk about a team that doesn't take their scheduling lightly, not taking any cupcakes from the non-conference schedule.
And that was even to start out with Canisius, Bennett. They're like, we'll play anybody. And not only that, we'll play on the road.
Yeah, we'll go to you. And by the way, they didn't play too shabby. I mean, they were competitive in most games that they played, and it showed in the postseason.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, they played I think it was week 1 or week 2, they played Bennett, only lost by 2 scores, and one of them was, I believe it was a punt return. So you take out of there, you're talking a 1-score game with a team that went to the state final in AA that was 2-3 classes ahead of you. You were in B at the time. That was a AA team that went to the state final, that team. So, yeah, and this Bennett team's not afraid of anybody. Lancaster's still up 16-7, I see. We're going to go to Game 7. Game 7, Bennett McDowell. Looks like they're inside the red zone is Bennett, but it looks like we have an injury, so we're going to go back to our 8 screen in the meantime. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's just check in real quick on that Medina game, Newfane. We know we saw earlier Medina was looks like Medina was driving. Newfane has the ball back. Have we seen any updates from that one?
We have not, but we do know that Tonawanda leads Eden 22-13 after 3 quarters there in Eden. The Warriors.
You do see that. Let's see. End of the 3rd quarter. Portville now is up 21-6 over Allegheny Limestone. That now heading into the 4th right now. Let's check Twitter for some other scores as we go through. I'm not seeing any more newer scores. We have nothing new from Medina. What happened on the last drive. Doesn't look like there was a score then. We probably would have gotten the notice already.
Yeah, nothing new from Medina, but I would like to say if you are joining us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, mention us on Twitter.
Absolutely. If you've got any scoring updates or know any specialty that you'd like to share with Western New York Athletics, we'd love to for you to let us know about it. 14-7, the Mustangs lead the Panthers after 3 quarters. Noah Skinner has a 2-yard touchdown run to put the Mustangs on top by 7, and they are currently on defense.
All right, let's head back to our 8 screen. Looks like all these games are a little bit of a lull, so I think this is the right point to take a break.
Yeah, we will step aside. More scoring updates coming up after this break as we wrap up a lot of games heading into the final quarter of play. Last night we had a big 4th quarter that went into overtime at Lakeshore as the Marauders fell to the Eagles. We'll look to see if we get any extra time here today in Western New York on the football field. But stay tuned for that to see if we get any overtime. We'll be back with more scoring recaps and more on Western New York Athletics. This is the Friday night final drive.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Yeah, might as well. All right, we're back here on the Friday Night Final Drive. Not to take my partner off guard here. We are going through all the scores. We're having a ton of fun tonight. How about you? I am.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's great to have football back to talk about, right? It's been all off season that we've been talking about what teams we're excited to see play. Finally, we get to see them hit the gridiron and do so rather quickly as the Bennett Tigers travel down to Erie, Pennsylvania. They're currently up by 1 over McDowell. We've got Will South and Will East tied at 7 coming out of halftime. Lancaster is up on top of Jamestown. We've got scores across the board. Orchard Park leading Clarence currently. We've got a new score coming in from Franklinville, Ellicottville, as at Ellicottville High School. They've taken a massive lead, looks like 32-6 over the visiting team out of the Monsignor Martin and St. Mary's High School. We'll get live footage from that shortly as we can. An update from Medina. 14-7 the last we saw there.
Yeah, 14-7. That update coming in just a few minutes ago. It looks like this is updates coming from Twitter, so obviously the video is ahead of that. But yeah, Noah Skinner scores a 2-yard run. Colt Kellard a big kick. I mentioned earlier you missed this, but one of the big stories of this offseason was Mike Vanderjagt, former NFL kicker, played for the Colts, playing in the CFL. Has decided to come on and help out the kicking team for Medina. I heard from Coach Valley. It just something came out of the blue. Mike Vanderjagt kind of called up the school. He said, "Hey, do you have any kickers?" And Coach Valley's like, "Well, in fact, this year we do. They have a sophomore or junior kicker. He's actually been to some camps, and it's a brand new weapon." So it's just amazing sometimes how things work out, right?
Yeah, and how lucky is that kicker? We'll try to pull up his name here. Kicker punter Cole Callard, a sophomore with 2 more years left to play, to get that experience and that teaching from a high school or an NFL player, teaching a high schooler at such a young age, going to kicking camps. Look out for the kicking game of Medina. That might come into play, but we take you now to Bennett and McDowell. The Tigers go up 20-13, awaiting the 2-point conversion. We know the Tigers don't kick field goals. Speaking of kicking, sorry, Pat McAfee and punter kickers alike. The Bennett Tigers are not a team for you. They will go for 2, and they line up at the 2-yard line here. Spread offense with one man in the backfield.
Here's a snap. Davis will throw. End zone on the wheel route, and it's caught. 2-point conversion good. Late flag. That'll be a personal foul on McDowell. Late hit.
That's going to be added onto the kickoff. Yep.
It was Roseboro that made the catch for the 2, and again, that's a big one. That makes it a 2-possession game.
And not only that, that's a 15-yard penalty from the kickoff.
Indeed.
That's going to take away some of that field position that you're looking to get, because we haven't seen Bennett really kick the ball far on their kickoffs.
Oh, no.
You've been getting decent field position, and now it's a 15-yard penalty that's going to be pushing you farther back.
Yeah, we've seen the kickoffs. We also saw that punt that just went straight high into the air. But in spite of all that, though, Bennett's been able to shake off some of the miscues, and they've got a 9-point lead. So a personal foul after the reception by Roseboro, and it's going to be 15 yards assessed on the kickoff, and it's going to be on the 45-yard line. .124 left in the third quarter, and 22-13, Bennett is ahead. And one of the guys deep to return the kickoff, it is Blue, the guy who hobbled off the field earlier in the Bennett's drive, but he is out there. And another guy deep for the return also is Stephon Porter, number 20.
Town and Lancaster. We've got some scoring happening over in our third game screen here today. Lancaster previously led 16-7. Now inside the 5-yard line, Jamestown looking to come back. They haven't scored this half. Now into the fourth quarter. Time is ticking. They got to get some points on the board, down by 9. Spread offense, 2 to each side. You can watch this game back later tonight with Jake Fyock on the call on Western New York Athletics.
You see, the fans must be going crazy with that camera shaking.
Fumble on the snap, rolling right. How about the Lancaster defense getting in there to bring up 4th down?
No, they got the ball. That was a fumble.
Wow, big play from the Lancaster D. Just
Even
when
bigger than you thought.
Yeah, you thought, okay, bring up 4th and short. What are they going to do here? Don't worry about it. Lancaster able to take control. And that might be all she wrote in that game, honestly, unless Jamestown can force a turnover. But this Lancaster team, they're not going to run anything that they don't need to. At this point, you don't expect them to pass the ball. You don't expect them to make any crazy plays. But as we go to Will South, a flag on the play, but the Williamsville East Flames potentially with a big play.
Yeah, let's take a look at this.
Let's go live in. Joe Kraus and Paul Catrona on the call at Will South.
As we saw there, that may be what they're thinking.
So the Flames face.
Will East come back with that run again? And no, it's.
So we saw earlier, we thought Will East may have scored. There was a flag. It looks like there was still 7-7 in that game. There's a run up the middle. I think they're going to be short. Why don't we throw it to Joe Kraus and Paul Catrona on that one.
Yard gain.
Brought down by the Billies, number 9, Gavin Long.
Good stout play on the interior line for South, holding back because, now East obviously has decided, look, we got to get that first down. It's too important. Second and 2, you think you're going to make it. Now it's 3rd and 1.
Flames going to a pitch outside. They find Passon. He crosses to the right, still on his feet, gets the outside, a 1-yard step with Peoples, and then he goes sailing out of bounds. A first down play for the Flames. Flames are looking for a flag on the hit from the Billies. None was tossed. Either way, a first down coming up for the Flames.
What an unorthodox formation. Already something's up, right? And then a counter to the left. Zone block opens it up, and then running to the right, and then just carrying people. That was a nice look, unorthodox, but really a nice looking design, nice looking run for Williamsville East.
We'll take a break over from Will South, Will East, and send you down to Medina. Inside the red zone are the Mustangs. A timeout called on the field, however. Just bad timing on our part there. As soon as we sent it over to them, they head to the sidelines. But this Medina team knocking on the door. They were up 14-7 last we saw. We'll see how that changes.
Yeah, we'll head back to this one, take a look in. There was just a run up the middle by Willie's. Going to make it about a 2nd and 3 for the Will East Flames.
Update from East Aurora Holland. The Huskies of Olean have added on to their lead at the end of 3 quarters, 28-14, the score there in favor of Olean. I heard Frank Wolf talk earlier today on his Twitter Spaces. Husky fans, we will be coming to Olean at some point this year to broadcast a Huskies game. We've never been to Olean as a Western New York Athletics crew, so looking forward to whether I get down there or not, whoever gets down to Olean has a fun time awaiting them. After 3 quarters as well, another update. Tonawanda up over Eden 22-13 as the Williamsville East Flames go on top.
You know, as we talked before, coming into the half and stuff, and one of the things I love, you know, I love spread offense. I love all that kind of stuff. Just want to see man-oh-man, like one-on-one, straight-ahead blocking. East switched to the double wing formation and just said, look, we're going to run it, and if you can stop it, good for you. And this time, South wasn't able to stop it.
Number 3, Brandon Sill on the try the extra point.
Extra point attempt on the way, and it is good. And the Flames, excuse the punter, fired up on their sidelines. 14-7 lead now after the big run. 9:31 left to play in the third quarter.
Come back for Williamsville East after a turnover led to Will South scoring in the final minute of play in the first half. They head to halftime tied 7-7. Now Williamsville East regains the lead 14-7.
All right, let's take a look. We have our 8 games up here right now. Let's see, where's the most action going on? Why don't we head out to our 8th game, to the Clarence OP game.
Orchard Park up 29-6 there, and it looks like the Quakers are going to take care of business in Clarence to start the year off. And like we mentioned, for the Red Devils, it doesn't get much easier next week as they'll take on Bennett at All-High Stadium. They'll have to travel on the road to Bennett and take on a team fresh off one of the toughest opponents that the Tigers will see all season. That should not be a fun one, but hey, you got to play the game. You got to play it. That's why they play it. You never know what can happen, but all expectations are that this Bennett Tigers team will run over their Western New York competition this year. Their eyes are on Syracuse and the Carrier Dome, the JMB Wireless Dome, rather, newly named in Syracuse. Here's a deep shot for Clarence, looking on the right side, incomplete. As McDowell thought they had a big play in the Bennett contest. They're now inside the 30-yard line. Trojans trying to march down the field. Still anybody's game down there as the fourth quarter has just begun. A 9-point lead for the Tigers. Crucial now, that 9-point lead, and just one timeout for both team remaining. See how that plays a factor. McDowell, 2 field goals kicked already in this game. That could be crucial as well. Down 9. If they can score 7 here, we'll see how this storyline plays out. But the running attack of Bennett, well, who knows with this game? There's athletes on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense for both teams. It's really anybody's game. We'll call it anyone's game until the fat lady sings.
You know, we have another scoring update. Marauders up 27-7 at the end of the third quarter. That was the same score at half, but Marauders out to a great start this season, as I've been talking about all night as well.
That's St. Joe's Marauders. The Dunkirk Marauders lost last night in overtime to Lakeshore.
Oh, that was a thriller.
I was on that game, and boy, oh boy, me and Mike Fata had one heck of a first game of the season. We didn't expect it to be an overtime match, though we knew it would be a close one. It ended up finalizing at 26-20. Lakeshore coming from behind. They were down 14-7. They were down 20-14. They tie it on the late stages of the fourth quarter. Plenty of storylines, quarterback changes. We saw quarterback injuries. We saw players make big-time plays, a fumble, a 98-yard pick six in that game. Anything that you wanted to see out of football, we had it last night. You can watch that stream back on WesternNewYorkAthletics.com, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Lakeshore and Dunkirk last night. One heck of a way to start out the 2022 season. It was by far the game of the night. The only other game being played, Amherst and Starpoint yesterday.
And that other game I was about to say, say 13-0 Amherst over Star Point. That's a big win for Amherst. They've struggled to get wins the past 2 years. Star Point is a strong program. Now, was Star Point expected to be a great team this year? Not necessarily. They don't return a ton. But at least if you're Coach Beckman, you can go to your guys and say, hey, Star Point's always a solid program. Hey, we got to win over them to start the season. That's going to give them confidence as they move forward in their A3 division.
Yeah, and that's an Amherst team that combined JV and varsity last year, went 5-12, 2-7 at the varsity level. So not a necessarily strong tradition of winning. Their last winning season comes back in 2019. 5-4 was their record there. But like you said, week 1, ask any team, not only in Western New York, but in any level of the sport, if you start out 1-0, hey, you're undefeated moving into week 2, and you stay undefeated until you lose week 2 or beyond. That's a big mental task for your teams, and when this Star Point team lays an egg week 1, how do you bounce back from that? You're down 13-0, you lose 13-0 week 1. Star Point's got to put something together here, and hey, it's a decent Amherst squad that you lost to. It's not nothing. As you see a scoring update, Sweet Home and Amherst, if we can trust it, is 21-13.
No, that's no, they're playing Ken West. I was trying to see. I thought maybe they updated it with the right teams, but you know what? I think we have someone on there. I sent a text, and we'll see if we can get a live update back from the scene over there. Let's see if we have any other scores from Twitter right now.
See, and that's why we've got Francis Beck on our staff, most connected man in Western New York sports.
You had a game down in Ellicottville, right?
Ellicottville and St. Mary's, that's Ellicottville, Franklinville, Ellicottville. They're dominating, double digits. Tough to see the scoreboard on their broadcast, but it looks like it's a double-digit to single-digit lead. Last we checked, it was 32. Could be more than that now. But Bennett and McDowell, as the Trojans, they were driving last we checked in. First and goal now. As the officials have a chat in the end zone, we go down to Tom Prince and Norman
off
Rodriguez
outside the end zone.
So we'll see what it is. They're having a discussion about it. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct on McDowell. So the touchdown will count, but it's going to be assessed on the kickoff.
So that was what we saw. That's what we saw happen in the back of the end zone is where it happened.
Yeah, it's been getting a little chippy with the attitudes a little bit. That's a second unsportsmanlike conduct we've seen. There's been one on each team.
Wonder why it's not on the extra point right here.
Maybe Bennett gets to choose?
I think so. They just said it's going to be on the kickoff, so. And I think what Bennett's looking at it as is I'd rather try to get better field position out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Extra point by Sontheimer. It is right down the pipe. It is good. Deficit cut down to 2, 22-20 with 10:49 left in regulation. And they're going to get set to kick it off over to Bennett. And Bennett, again, looking to just extend the lead some more. But McDowell's, even though it's early in the fourth, they got to get a stop defensively.
You know, but
we'll hand it over now, Lancaster, Jamestown. Jamestown knocking on the door. Freshman quarterback under center. The handoff will be stopped short on fourth down. 1 to go at the 6. Did they get the first down? We'll wait to see the line judge's ruling. Looks like it will be a first down, however. Jamestown moves inside the 5. A big game there as a safety was scored by this Jamestown defense that got them the ball back. And now first and goal at the 5-yard line. Spread offense, a pitch on the ground, a fumble. They'll have to dive on it and keep possession.
It'll be second down. Another scoring update right now. We're going to go to game 6, actually, as we see Maritime going to score another touchdown. They're taking care of business.
Falcons not messing around up in Grand Island, but we want to go back to this Lancaster game as they've got Jamestown on the ropes, or rather they flip it. Jamestown on the ropes with Lancaster inside the 5. A timeout called there on the field to talk about some things.
It's going to be a
Under
pooch
3
kick.
minutes to go.
And it's a live ball after 10 yards. It does.
All right, I do have another scoring update. That Sweet Home Kenmore West game. It's the Panthers are ahead 35-22 over the Kenmore West Blue Devils. 10:22 to play. Our Matt Adam Gorski is there right now. And he's going to be working on a special story for our next football report. Where he's going to be doing a feature on Sweet Home coach Jeremy Zimmer. If you didn't know, he was in the ICU at the end of last season. He's back to full form right now.
Well, if you haven't checked out the football magazine that Western New York Athletics has taken over, go ahead and check it out. 2 articles on every class and the Monsignor Martin as well up for week 1. You can check out some feature stories on our website, westernnewyorkathletics.com. Links are all over Facebook and Twitter as well. So go ahead and check those out if you want some personal stories, and feel free on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter here. Drop us a like and retweet, share, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and make sure you tell all your friends. The best place for high school sports coverage in Western New York, right here on Western New York Athletics. Appreciate all the subscriptions and likes we can get. If you like the broadcast, you want to know when we're on live next, go ahead, hit the bell, subscribe as I do my Twitch stream bit here. We'll go back to Jamestown knocking on the door in Lancaster territory. 2nd down, 2 to go. It's 2nd and goal at the 6. Under 3 minutes left. A 7-point ball game. After Jamestown forced a safety, got the punt, marched right down the field. Fade to the back of the end zone.
Was he in? Nope.
Out of bounds. Oh, that looked like the best play from Jamestown that they had.
Oh, man, that was a good play. Right on the corner. If there was a review, you would want to we definitely take a look at that if that was at the next level. If we had I don't think Spectrum has any cameras over there. It doesn't look like they do.
Well, if we could get the angle of the man in the yellow on the far sideline in the corner, that would really tell you whether he got his feet in or not. However, it's going to be 3rd and 6 from the 6. 3rd and goal. Jamestown empties out the backfield. They've got one to the quarterback's right hip. 2 receivers to each side. 3rd and goal. Looking right. Throw short. Intercepted or knocked away. However, it doesn't matter. It's not a touchdown.
Oh, man, he had it right on his hands, too. You could tell he wanted that one. If he would have had it, that would have been a big play. He could have went all the way back for 6. I want to go really quick. We're going to get over to Will South, Will East. Will South driving inside the 20 as they get set up for their next play. Wish we had a double box. That would be cool. These both teams entering the red zone. Looks like Jamestown's going to take a timeout. We have a timeout in that game, so we'll stay here with Will South and Will East. Why don't we toss it over to Joe and Paul?
Paul.
After the measurement, it is 1st and 10.
Overcamp takes the snap. He steps up. As man in the corner, he fires to Peoples, but is incomplete. Pressure on the outside coming from Scioli, I believe.
Yeah, Scioli, great play. That was a wonderful throw. Again, to the outside, that's a little dangerous, right? You're thinking, but, boy, he's got a good arm. That ball got there on pace. Just a nice play on the defensive back. So, Joe, I don't know if you're a country fan.
I am.
Okay, so, Kenny Chesney has that wonderful record. The boys have fall, so I'll give him a plug. Anybody after this game, not now.
Back in the early 2010s. Billy's a big set on the left side of Camp. Camp now fires. Quick screen, but it is incomplete, and the receiver had his knee on the ground anyway. So it will bring 3rd down.
Yeah, I just wish Green just take a half a second more. Just get that there. I was kind of looking. They had 3 blockers on 2 defensive backs. That could have been a play that would have gone right into the end zone. However, you get excited when you're the quarterback sometimes and your fundamentals. But again, game time. This is how you get better. They'll look at it in film. They'll talk about it next time they run that play. I would assume he'll complete that.
3rd and 10 for South at the East 14. Green rolls to his left. Cuts in and brought down by the lineman of the Flames. Flames applying that pressure once again, this time coming from Zaid Al Nasser, number 78. And so, once again, Paul, the fourth.
Welcome back. Here we go. Jamestown, first and goal, or Lancaster rather. They're in their own territory. They got the ball on a turnover on downs.
Yeah, it looks like, sorry, we missed that fourth down play, but it looks like Jamestown turned it over. So Lancaster has the ball, 2:18. It looks like they're going to try to ice out that game. Why don't we switch back to the
Huge
Will
play.
South Will East.
5:40 left in the third quarter. Overcamp sends 2 men over to the left side, and flags are thrown.
Yeah, 2 men in motion. Can't do that, guys.
Timeout taken by the Billies. And we'll step aside as well for a quick break. 5:32 left in the third quarter.
Back to our 8-screen view. Will South driving, looking to tie things up against Will East. Joe Licata calls a timeout. Franklinville-Ellicottville has officially taken down the Lancers of St. Mary's. The Lancers scored a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to put themselves at 13 points, but looks like a 38-13.
And while we have a quick moment, we'll let you know that Paul and I will be back here next Saturday night as the Louisville South Billies host the West New York Maritime Health Science.
Their lead 21-7. We wait to see the tweet from the Medina Mustangs Twitter account to see who got that score.
It looks like another scoring update. Iroquois is up 24-14. That game is late in the fourth quarter. Michael final soon. But yeah, Iroquois picking up. Looks like they're about to beat West. Oh, we have another scoring update. Okay, it looks like we have Orchard Park just scored. Ben Gosella ran up the middle. So Orchard Park leads 36-6. And again, Iroquois is up 24-14 late in the fourth quarter over Southwestern.
Iroquois, an interesting team to watch as well this year. Francis, what can you tell me about that Iroquois offense, what changes from last year, and what we can look forward to?
There are some, well, it's interesting. Well, changes. Let's start under center. The name on the back of the jersey won't change, but the kid inside of it does. It'll be Justice Clace taking over for his brother Trey Clates, but they still return Trevor Berry at running back. He's someone I got my eye on for Connolly Cup. He was on my contender list. They also have wide receiver Nate McGoldrick, who put up some fantastic numbers this year, and they return much of that offensive line from last year as well.
If you haven't seen Beck's Connolly Cup contenders, make sure you check them out on WesternNewYorkAthletics.com. Francis takes all the time in the world crafting his final list of contenders for the preseason to keep your eyes out on throughout the regular season. And, of course, we're going to do our best to get each of those kids on live streams this year so you can watch them at home. But make sure you travel out to some of these high school football atmospheres. Just last night at Lakeshore was one of the best atmospheres I've been to in a long time. They had a pep band, the cheer squad's unbelievable. Pep band had a keyboard out there. It's a really good environment and shows some support for your local high school team. So we're glad you could join us, though, if you can't make it or if you're driving or wherever you may be. Glad you could tune in with us here on Western New York Athletics for the Friday night final drive as we take you down to Erie, Pennsylvania. Bennett and McDowell.
I can't make my decision. Yeah, let's go there.
A 22-20 game. McDowell looking to come back, but Bennett running the ball. They can kill as much time as they want to here. Offensively, up by 2, we go now to Norm Rodriguez and Tom Prince.
Box is on the home side, and there really isn't an empty seat, folks. There really isn't.
No, there's not.
And you can see right now, they're banging their feet right now on those stands, and we can feel the press box shaking.
So second down and 15 to 31. It was a false start, so it's not declinable. So big break from McDowell. It's going to be a give to Hathcock. And, he's able to slip away from one tackle. Gets away from another, and he'll get it to about the 24, 23-yard line. So it'll be third down and about 7 or 8 yards to go.
Does a good job of breaking that to the outside. That's been the strength we've talked about, right? Anytime Bennett can get to the outside, they've made special things happen on their run.
So it was an 8-yard gain by Hathcock. Third down and 8 at McDowell's 23. These 2 downs are very important here defensively for both teams. defensively for McDowell, offensively for Bennett. Davis will look to throw, fakes the handoff, staying in the pocket, evades the pressure, looking, almost lost the ball. He's got running room. He's got the first down and more to the 10. He gets to the 5 and knocked out of bounds.
The only negative thing to that in the eyes of Bennett is you go out of bounds right there, right?
Yeah.
Because that stops the clock right there with 6:08. And right now, they just want that clock to be running is what they want.
They did McDowell a favor. First and goal coming up for the Tigers.
So I think we got a timeout called.
It's going to be at the 7-yard line.
Oh, sorry. I just saw the water person run out. That's why I thought there was a timeout called. But she ran off the field, so...
First and goal at the 6. And it's going to be a give again to Hamilton. Pounding it inside the 5. Getting it to the 1. And he got in. Touchdown. Second touchdown of the game for Daryl Hamilton. How about a baked potato with that pork chop?
Boy, he really has done it today, right? On both sides of the ball. Coming up big right here for Bennett. And this 2-point conversion, folks, this is a big one. This really is, because this is still a one-possession game right here.
They got to get Bennett to fail this 2-point conversion, because they do. If they get a touchdown, get to 2 points, it'd be a tie game.
So Perry looks like he's hobbling a little bit, was trying to go off the field, and they sent him back out. Did you see that?
I did. So this is a big 2-point conversion here for Bennett. McDowell has to stop it. Davis takes a snap, looking. Here's a throw. Broken up. Incomplete. Got broken up there by James Ziegler, and that's a big 2-point stop there by McDowell. Because of them getting the ball back and needing a touchdown, they will have to go for 2.
Well, Norm Rodriguez said it best. What a stop for McDowell on the 2-point conversion attempt. We're going to toss you now to Lancaster as Jamestown with their quarterback running to his left in offensive territory. 1:18 to go at the 34-yard line, a 2nd and 10 with the clock stopped. So, Francis, talk us through this Jamestown offense, and what can we expect here potentially on this final drive? Who are we looking for?
You're looking for Trey Drake and Darius Freeney, the wide receiver. We saw him at the cross-training athletics combine earlier in the summer. I believe that was maybe early August, mid-July. Actually, that was back in July. We saw that in our over there. I'm going to try to pull up a few more names in there. We got another score update, 31-14. Right now, Iroquois is leading Southwestern in that one as I try to pull up my Jamestown notes. And, of course, I pull up the wrong one.
Well, 3rd and 10 is now where we're at. 1:10 to go in the 4th quarter, a 7-point lead. McDowell will keep an eye on them for you as well, and we'll bring that to you when we see something worth bringing to you. Every other game either over, a blowout.
Well, we do have the Will South, Will East, which is still happening.
Yes, a 14-7 score there, and Will South is driving in offensive territory. So 3 games to keep an eye on at this point, but Iroquois Southwestern, a blowout for Iroquois. I shouldn't say blowout. Southwestern was competitive in that game, but Iroquois will take that one. Newfane Medina is over. Medina wins that one, starting out 1-0, and it looks like we may have a turnover as Williamsville East is celebrating on the sidelines of Will South. Still plenty of time to go in this one. Let's go to Joe Kraus.
A little bit high on him. He got it punched out. You know, as this game now in this 3rd quarter anyway, right? East has been the aggressor. They've got the touchdown. Now they've stopped South at deep. They didn't get the greatest punt off, but they stop them with a turnover. So, and now they're going to go back to their double wing power formation.
Before the snap a whistle, a timeout is called.
3rd quarter still in that Will South, Will East game. As we take you back to Lancaster, we mentioned the fact that that's a 7:30 start at Will South off air. agree or disagree, Francis, we should have more 7:30, even an 8 o'clock start on Friday night in high school sports in Western New York. You love this late finish for Will South, Will East.
Yeah, you certainly do. And, the only problem is if we're going to be doing games on tape delay, we might have to start them later, or we might have to do Saturday mornings. We'll have to figure out our schedule. But either way, that's kind of cool. We kind of mentioned March Madness. Maybe it's every 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe do you get 2 games every 15 minutes? A set 2 at 7, 2 at 7:15. You can be a couple at 7:30, couple 7:45, then an 8. Probably don't want to go any later than 8:30.
Right.
But still, that would be pretty cool when you have these games sitting at the same time. That would even be better than what the NFL does because they do straight 1 and 4.
Right.
And maybe there's a couple at like 4:15 or 4:05, but they don't really do a staggered like the March Madness NCAA.
If we can convince Ken Stolten, the chairman of the chairs, well, it's not Stolt anymore.
Jay Sirianni.
Sirianni takes over a few years ago. He now will have a conversation with us. Perhaps we'll have him on next week on the Friday night final drive to talk about the state of high school football in Western New York. Maybe if you're listening out there, Sirianni, we'd love to have you on, although he's probably thinking about this Southwestern loss today as Iroquois went down and took care of them. A few games still going on, as we mentioned. Will South, Will East, Lancaster, and Jamestown, as Lancaster looks to have that one all but wrapped up if they can just get the ball back. There's a minute left in this one. 4th and 10, however, for Jamestown. When your best player offensively is a running back, tough in these 3rd and long, 4th and long situations.
Well, they have Trey Drake, though. He's their best player this year.
The pressure sent from Lancaster, that'll do it. The Legends send the house on 4th and 10. A risky move, but it results in a turnover on downs. Lancaster will start the year 1-0, and we'll take you now to Bennett and McDowell. How about the Trojans marching down the field in short order? It's a 1-score game there. We'll send you to Norm Rodriguez and Tom Prince in a moment as there's an injured Tiger on the field currently. But 28-20 is the score for Bennett, as Will South and Will East also going on here tonight. They are entering the red zone with Williamsville East up by 7. We'll send you to Joe Kraus and Paul Catrona.
Pitch inside, facing right behind his line, and he goes into the end zone for the score. The senior superstar, Dorian Facey Jr., extending the Flames' lead.
And really doing everything for Williamsville East tonight. But, I was looking this run also kind of reminds me of an Eric Dickerson. I always called those type of guys straight-up runners. Powerful, though. Shoulders. For the South Side, this is gut check time now, right? You're going to be down by 2 scores.
Flames goalie for 2. They pitch to Faison again, and he is in. Flames lead 22-7 over the Billies.
Walking into the end zone there, a man amongst men. 6'2", 200 pounds. Faison Jr. looked like he was untouched, though he was just knocking bodies off him like flies, left, right, and center. Bennett and McDowell happening right now. McDowell in the red zone looking to tie things up, down by 8 to Norman Tom in Pennsylvania.
Let's see. Here's the give. No, it's a draw, and he's in for a touchdown. More second rush touchdown of the game, and they're a 2-point conversion away from making this score a tie. 28-26, 4:49 left in regulation. Talk about Big Bo. The pendulum has slightly shifted. They still got to convert the 2-point conversion, though.
Absolutely. And listen, folks, there's still 4:49 left in this game, right? This is far from over. We've got enough time for multiple scores still left.
Here comes the 2-point conversion try. Shotgun again. Looks like this will be a sweep. It's a fake. Moore looking. Throws for blue. It's good! And we are tied at 28. 4:49 left in the fourth, and the offense has picked it up again. We have a tie game. 28-all, and now McDowell needs to get a stop if they want to win this game in regulation, because I'm sure they don't want to go to overtime.
Nobody wants to at this point, but let's see. Listen, this is why you play it out, right?
What a drive for McDowell, and they cap it off just in time. What a start of the regular season for the Bennett Tigers. A great matchup down in Erie, Pennsylvania, and they won't get an easy victory. Final from East Aurora, Holland. The Olean Huskies take care of business as they take down East Aurora Holland 35-14. Final. Also final are the Warriors of Tonawanda. They went from completely defeated last year to winning game one 22-20 over the Eden Raiders for Tonawanda. A big win to start the year.
First win for new Tonawanda coach Henry Fumarelli. We have a story coming out on him on the Football Report. He actually was in a car accident a couple of years ago while he was a coach at NT. Tried to come back at first, didn't have it, but after a few years off, he's back to full strength. That's great for him to get his first win.
We've got a couple other final scores as well. Franklinville-Ellicottville taking care of St. Mary's of Lancaster handily, a double-digit victory there. Western New York Maritime took care of Grand Island up in the A3 class. That's a divisional game for Western New York Maritime as the Falcons won in blowout fashion on the island. Medina took care of Newfane at home to start out the Class C North Division this season. Plenty of big wins within divisional play and a big non-divisional win. Orchard Park cleaning up the Clarence Red Devils.
You can see the Medina game is done on your screen. The final score there, the Mustangs 21-7 over the Newfane Panthers. Another final, it's going to be Lancaster gets the win 16-9 over Jamestown. Just got an update about 8 minutes to go, 31-14 Iroquois over Southwestern. That's late in the fourth quarter. We weren't able to get that broadcast up. We apologize for that. We were having some technical issues down there, but we hope you've enjoyed your time with us. So stay tuned. We have a bunch of games still wrapping up. I think we're in for a big show. So those are a couple of finals. I'm not seeing any more finals here.
We'll take a look for more finals that we will have for you right after we go to break. We'll come back, give you some final scores that we've had throughout the evening, a recap of week one in high school football in Western New York as a whole. We'll give you scores from last night, tonight, and a look forward to tomorrow and the games that we've got on tap from 12 o'clock to 8 p.m. We've got games on Western New York Athletics. We'll give you all that right after this here on the Friday Night Final Drive.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Back here on the Friday night final drive. We've got one game still happening down in Erie, Pennsylvania. Now we're joined by Jake Fyock. Jake just had the call on Lancaster and Jamestown that wrapped up. That game will be live streamed at 10 p.m. here on Western New York Athletics. We'll now switch over and show you this Bennett-McDowell game. They're tied at 28 apiece, 3.5 to go there. But we'll continue our conversation here. Jake Fyock, glad you could join us fresh off that Lancaster game. What did you see, and what was the overall story?
Yeah, absolutely. So Lancaster and Jamestown, a lot of people know that's one of the two prominent football programs here in Western New York. They've been very dominant the past couple of years in terms of their section title run, like what Jamestown did last year when they had that Class state semifinal run. As we know, last year as well with Lancaster, they fell to Bennett, who currently playing McDowell now, but was also in the state championship game where they fell as well. So this game was, other than maybe a little bit low scoring than I would have expected, it was a close game. It didn't play like that at first, though. So in the first quarter, it started off just being mainly Lancaster. Max Stolt, their starting quarterback, he didn't play a lot last year, had some passes here and there, but got the starting job in camp. But hit a nice pass over to their wide receiver, Matt Bauer, as he was rolling out to the right. They went to the right side of the closer to the end of the end zone for a touchdown to go up 7-0. Their kicker, Cannon Converse, where Eric Rupp told me how he's got an amazing leg where he can go as far as back 40 yards to, hit a nice field goal. But in this situation, he didn't have to kick it that far. Had a nice short field goal opportunity that he made to go up 10-0. But as with a minute 30 was left in the first quarter, throughout the beginning of that first quarter, Jamestown wasn't really clicking a lot. They had some flashes here and there that you saw from last season, but they showed a little bit towards the end of the first quarter, and then as soon as the second quarter opened up, with a minute 30 in, Trey Drake saw that arm strength. He's a lot better in terms of throw power than he was last year. Hit a wide open Colin Melendez, and the extra point was good to cut it down to 3.
And that was cut you off real quick. This Bennett game that you're watching here, folks, here you see the Tigers nearly turn the ball over. McDowell just barely dropping that interception. The officials talk about a potential penalty on the play here. 2.5 to go from Erie, Pennsylvania. McDowell and Bennett tied at 28.
Did he call timeout?
Jay, continue from there. We've got a couple more scores. And then we saw that turnover at the end of the game, the safety leading to a punt return and nearly a comeback from Jamestown.
Yeah, absolutely. In the third quarter, the first half ended with a 10-7 lead for Lancaster. In the third quarter, Micah Harry from Lancaster, he was dominant last year in the run game, almost having 20 rushing touchdowns, and he was able to get a 53-yard rushing TD in the third quarter to go up 16-7. But like you said, turnover by Jamestown for Lancaster to recover it, and then essentially the ensuing drive, they fumble it inside, I believe, their 10-yard line. They corral it in the end zone, ends up being a safety to make it 16-9. And then from there on out, there was just so many opportunities for Jamestown where they were in the red zone where they could have tied this game up. But that speed from the pass rush, from the defensive line of the Legends, their speed in the secondary, which is something that Eric Rupp told me about before coming into this game, and how fast and aggressive they are. Well, they definitely showed it, because Trey Drake and the offensive line struggled a good amount of time trying to get Drake time in the pocket, those wide receivers to go through their progressions, and Drake just got thrown down time after time after time again. And even on their last offensive play, it was a fourth down. It was just a breakdown of the offensive line. I thought it was going to be maybe a little bit of a screen play, because it was a 3rd and 10 where they could probably get some yards, because Lancaster did that as well. They used a lot of their running back screen plays from Harry, and they were able to get big yardage. So it looked like Jamestown was going to do that as well, but it was just a collapse from the offensive line. I believe it was number 51 for Lancaster. Let me look him up real quick. It was Evan Stencil, which, by the way, was probably the defensive player of the game. He was all over the offensive line, getting right through, had a fumble recovery. I think he might have had a sack in the game, but had that – yeah, he did, because that was that big sack at the end of the game where he brought down Trey Drake to basically put that final nail in the coffin. So even though it's a non-league matchup, it's always great for a football team to start off the season 1-0, and the Lancaster Legends, they did that on their home field against Jamestown.
There's Jake Fyock, play-by-play call on the Western New York Athletics live stream of the Lancaster-Jamestown game. You can watch that back on replay in full, premiering at 10 p.m. tonight. So just in a bit, in 15 minutes, you can get that full game and highlights up tomorrow on our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook pages. This just in, a final score as the Gowanda Panthers have taken down Silver Creek 24-6, the final score there. First win for head coach Brett Elbig in his head coaching debut. We'll take a timeout real quick, and we'll join you back on Western New York Athletics for the Friday night final drive. You're watching Western New York Athletics right here. We'll be back right after this.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Back on the Friday night final drive, Francis Beck will jump right in the studio real quick. We've got a final from Southwestern, Iroquois 31, Southwestern 14, as we will go to Bennett for Bennett and McDowell. 28-28. Bennett just had a 3-and-out inside their own territory. They punt the ball to McDowell. We'll go live to Tom Prince and Norm Rodriguez on the call, but we'll stay here as well to chime in. Francis Beck rejoins us. 3rd and 4 inside
Here's
their
a
own
snap.
territory.
Morrow roll to the right, throw, tipped, and incomplete. So 1:11 left in regulation, and honestly,
Hamilton does a great job there.
Yeah, he does.
See him bust through the line right there? Bust through, almost got through the double team right there. Caused to get that throw off quickly right there. And it looks like we're going to have another punt. And you're going to see a 1:11 still left in this ball game.
Yeah, honestly, I do think it was a little bit conservative. But they still got the timeouts. I'm surprised they didn't use one. They lost about 30 seconds. But Southheimer set the punt again. He's done very well on it throughout the game. And this one is another one that's got some high hang time. Bounces at the 25, and it'll go out of bounds at around the 19. So another excellent punt there by Sontheimer. Give him Special Teams Player of the Week honors right there.
So 1:02 left in this. Are we going to overtime is the question.
I'm thinking so. No timeouts left, and Bennett was a bit conservative on their last drive. I do anticipate it would be overtime. Even so, though, when Davis has chosen to throw, he has gotten it done when he's needed to.
I just, right now, man, I'm going to give Perry a ton of credit. There is not too many people that would fight through what he's fighting through out there on the field to make sure he stays out there for his team. I mean, he is just gutting it. Boy, what just even more incredible. Like, you give this kid accolades over and over again. Most people would be off the field right now, and he's not coming off.
Davis in the shotgun. Got 3 wides. Davis will roll to the right, looking to throw. Here comes the rush. Throw, and he's just going to throw it away. Smart decision. Don't force anything where it's a possible pick. Just throw it away, go to second down.
A couple more scores. Niagara Wheatfield over Hutch Tech, 27-16. And Maryville wins 28-8 over Cleve Hill.
I do also got another one too, Tom. Medina against Newfane, final score. Medina with the win, 21-7. So second down and 10 at their own 20. 55 seconds left in regulation. And
Well, as that game may wind down to overtime, just under a minute between McDowell and Bennett, we take you back to Will South. Will East looking like they're going to hang on here, if not add on to their 22-7 lead currently, as the Flames continue their dominance, led by that running back. Number 1, Dorian Fasten Jr. has been unbelievable so far today. You'll see him all over Western New York, I'm sure. After this week, teams will be plotting for that running game of the Flames. They're inside the 10-yard line, inside Will South territory. Final scores across Western New York filing in. You just heard on the call Tom Prince and Norm Rodriguez giving some scores from Niagara Wheatfield and Maryville victories. Iroquois takes down Southwestern 31-14, a 21 victory for Medina over Newfane. We saw Gowanda Pine Valley takes the season opener over the Black Knights of Silver Creek Forestville down in Class D. Tonawanda takes down Eden 22-20. Olean beats East Aurora Holland 35-14. Orchard Park took care of Clarence 36-6. I believe that was the final there as well. Bennett McDowell, the closest game we've got here tonight, 28-28 the tie, as there's a timeout in that game with 40 seconds to go. Bennett still in their own territory deep. Will East, Will South will wind things down. The late game here tonight, 7:30 start on the game time there. So we'll look to see them wind things down, but Will East doesn't look like they're going to give it away, as they just added on another 7 points, 29-7 now.
Keeping it in the North Towns, we have a final 41-28 sweet home win over Kenmore West. That is a statement win for the Panthers right there, to come out against a team, Kenmore West, we thought was going to compete, really compete for that A2 division. And we saw, Sweet Home was losing. We thought Sweet Home was losing some pieces, but, Coach Zimmer talked about their line. They have tons of size on it, and it appears that's what really broke the day. And then Jordan Theodore just went through those holes and took care of business. So, big win for the Panthers there.
Sweet Home, 41.
Formation here, 3rd and 11 at the 19.
Go back to Bennett and McDowell. 3rd and long.
Here's a throw, and that's caught! Past the 30 to the 34-yard line. And
we'll send you to Norman Tom for the call on the final drive. No hurry-up offense. No timeouts remaining for Bennett.
And they got to hustle. 4 wides once again. 27 seconds left in regulation. Davis takes a snap, looking. He's going to go outside the pocket, take off, and run. And they'll stop him at around the 37-yard line. Be about a 3-yard gain. However, Davis was able to stop the clock with 19 seconds left.
We said coming into this game this was going to be a great one, and it's turned into exactly that. Wow.
And,
just two great teams going at each other. This is another great way for us to kick off this season. I mean, wow, what a game this is.
Yeah, and looks like my theory's kind of proving right. Bennett right now is the last team to have the ball, and it looks like they will for this quarter, but they got to hurry. The clock's running. They're going to get a delay of game penalty. That's going to be – the clock's at 0. That's delay of game. You got to pay attention to the time of the clock.
Listen, I don't think they care. I think right now they just want this thing to run down to go to overtime is all that they're looking for at this point.
With the last couple plays, I thought they were going to try and throw it downfield. But it's going to be a 2nd and 12 at the 32. 19 seconds left in regulation. High snap, quick pass. That's caught. And out of bounds is Thomas at the 35. Just a 3-yard gain. So a good job by the secondary of McDowell.
We send you over to Will South, a 65-yard touchdown pass and catch into the end zone. The Billies, we send you now over to Joe Kraus, who's on the call with Paul Catrona.
Strike. So far tonight, I've seen that kind of a skinny post that I thought had been open quite a bit. They connected there, and you know what? If you're a South fan, you're thinking, If you're an East fan, you're going to say, come on, we can do it, or, oh no, that's the beginning, something's going to happen. But we'll wait and see that, but not to take anything away from that play. That was just a gorgeous, gorgeous hookup.
Again, we've talked about earlier in the broadcast, Coach Licata excited to work with young Caden, the sophomore. Second touchdown today. Now Jason Green, the senior, rolling in for the 2-point run. We have ourselves a game now. 7:29 left. The Flames lead the Billies 29-15.
So you know, Joe, who doesn't think the game was over is Joe Licata. Because I was
looking. Pocket collapses. Here's the throw. Incomplete. 2 seconds left in regulation. Now this will for sure be the final play of regulation play.
They wanted, McDowell wanted intentional grounding thrown on this one.
I did see 2 receivers, though, around the area.
Yeah, I agree with you. There wasn't where it was, I know they want it, but I thought there was players close enough, and he was getting hit as he threw it.
So 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Let's see if they just do a handoff to Hathcock and go to overtime, or a little razzle-dazzle lateral play, or a Hail Mary. I wouldn't mind seeing his full-on arm strength. But there is a flag with 0.8 of a second left.
Be a false start.
And before our next play, got a couple more score updates. Williamsville East, they're now ahead 29-7 over Williamsville South, and Sweet Home, they won their game tonight 41-28.
Quick correction there, Will South.
So, clock's back up to 2 seconds. 2nd and 15 at their own 40. I'm curious what Bennett does here. Shotgun formation. Here's a snap. It's going to be a quick pass. It's caught, but stopped right away. We're going to have overtime. We're tied at 28. It's the end of regulation, but the game will continue on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for overtime right here on WNY.
I do believe they'll be following the typical high school rules that we have here in Western New York, Francis.
I would think so, but I didn't even consider this until just now.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
How often? Here's a question. How often has there been
first
Western
touchdown catch
non-New York
on a varsity level?
Go to overtime.
What a time for that score!
I've
Again,
never seen it myself.
Down to a 2-score game, as we mentioned.
Going overtime. Now you would assume college style. That's
so now, will that defensive line feel that energy? Hey, you know what? I was tired.
20, and from there, one team goes for the try. If they score, the other team can respond. If the first team does not and the second team does, the game is over. We saw last night Lakeshore scored first. Dunkirk got the ball second. A forced fumble and a fumble recovery for the Eagles was the end of the ball game. There's no clock. It's all at zeros. You're just playing a shootout style, college classic style.
All right, why don't we turn it back to Joe Kraus and Paul Catrona for this Williesville South.
He said a fine howdy doody, right? He hit him, and he just drove him backward, and to knock that guy down, to knock into him and bend him backwards, that's showing me like, okay, those are one of the guys I'm going to watch on film and make a statement. This one wasn't ready to quit.
Does appear that a Billy's offender is injured on the play, so we'll step aside for a moment. 6:58 left to play in quarter number 4.
All right, on that note, while that game goes to break and while we get ready for overtime, the Bennett McDowell game, Jack, why don't we talk about the games coming up tomorrow on Western New York Athletics? I should mention the Jamestown-Lancaster game, tape delay. It should be starting in a few moments. We apologize. We had some technical difficulties with that. There won't be any audio on it, but you can see the full video for that game.
So tomorrow, 6 games from 12 o'clock, make it 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock are the kickoff times. At 1, Newport at Lackawanna. Wilson at CSP will be 1:30. That game, I believe, will be played at Clymer tomorrow. Wilson makes the travel. How about that drive? Wilson, all the way up north on Lake Ontario, drives 2 hours south to Clymer near the Pennsylvania border. Perhaps they drove down today and had a hotel, as Frank Wolf mentioned earlier on his Spaces talk. So that game's at 1:30. 1:30. At 2 o'clock, North Tonawanda. See, Francis, this is what I'm talking about. These staggered starting times, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Those games are going to end beautifully, as the 2 o'clock game is North Tonawanda at West Seneca West. That'll lend you some dinner time between 5 and 7 o'clock, and then lock it in. Randolph at Salamanca, Lockport at Hamburg, and Pioneer at Depew, all kicking off at 7 o'clock. Bet you wish you had a Friday night drive on Saturday nights as well, because those three could get competitive. All three of those, Randolph, Salamanca. We know Xander Hines coming back for Randolph. He's a heck of a running back down there for the red and white. Lockport at Hamburg should be a good game. Pioneer at Depew. We know that Pioneer's got some dogs, and Depew always has some good players, and they're bringing back a pretty competitive team from last year.
Yeah, they're going to be a very good team this year. Jack, why don't we're going to take a short break, and then it looks like they got to do the coin toss for overtime. So they are playing overtime over there. So we'll take a short break. You're watching the Friday night final drive on WNY Athletics.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
You're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Back on the Friday night final drive, plenty of final scores coming in across Western New York. We send you now over to over to Pennsylvania with Bennett and McDowell tied at 28 going to overtime. One other game still going on tonight, Will South and Williamsville East. In Williamsville South's territory, the Billies have the ball. I beg your pardon, the Williamsville East Flames have the ball in offensive territory at the 37-yard line. They're up by 2 scores. That game all but over, 5.5 and counting there. As we'll send you now to Norm and Tom on the call down in PA.
You know what I mean? A great timeout for your team that obviously they felt they needed right here. And we're playing at the end of that game to go to overtime.
Yep. And looks like McDowell will get the ball first. And it's going to start the 20-yard line. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like it's starting at the 10.
Yeah, they are. They are starting at the 10.
So it must be different for Pennsylvania. Yeah, again, because Bennett's playing in PA, it's going by Pennsylvania rules. So ball at the 10-yard line to stop. It's going to be a touch pass over to Jackson. Jackson gets to the 5, breaks it free, and gets to about the 1.5-yard line. So strong start right off the bat for McDowell on that little touch pass to Ray Jackson. So it's going to be ruled out at the 3, a 7-yard gain. Second down and goal at the 3. More in the shotgun, high snap, give to Simmons. Looking for the end zone, he's at the 1. He did not break the plane. It's going to be third down and goal at the, looks like it'll be at the 1 or at the closest to 6-inch line.
Yeah, I think this is like in a foot.
So honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Morris tries to sneak this in. He's got 2 rush touchdowns. I'm sure he wouldn't mind a hat trick, or it could be a quarterback draw. Oh, no, it's going to be a direct snap, and it looks like he got in. And it's going to be a touchdown for McDowell. So a direct snap.
So here we go. They're going for 2.
It went to longer, and honestly, I like that they're going for 2 here because you know that Bennett's going to do it, so you got to do it yourself. And if you convert, then you got to make Bennett, they'll have to convert, and if they don't, game's over. Here's the 2-point conversion try. Lunger will keep it. He's going into the end zone, and he didn't get it. He is short.
That's a big stop right
yes,
there.
It is.
That really is. What did I say? Bennett's style of play right there could put you into making the decision you didn't really want to make.
Another
right
two-point
there because
conversion
you've got
goes
such a
for
great kicker.
naught in
So
this
now,
game.
What does Bennett gotta
Boy,
do
it's
to
confusing,
now put
Francis,
this
as
in
you
the end
look
zone?
at this
You're
this
going to the
matchup
10-yard
between
line,
Bennett
right?
and
So this is
McDowell
even
that
better
has
if
had
you're
plenty of
Bennett
scoring,
right here,
34-28 as you see on your
you're gonna
screen
get a heavy dose
in
of the run right
overtime.
here.
Now Bennett will get the chance to respond if you haven't seen high school overtime, same as college. McDowell scores first, Bennett a chance to respond, but if Bennett scores that extra point, we know they're going to go for two. If they go for two and get it, the game is over. That'll be it. They'll win 36-34. But if Bennett does not, McDowell will then get the ball back. If Bennett scores and doesn't get the two-point conversion, that is, and we go from there on the second round. An update from Will South.
This back to a two-score game, but now a 20-point lead for the Flames. Still some time, though. 4:40 left to play.
South, Joe Licata starts his
I imagine, Paul, that the Billies will try to replicate what we saw.
Things to build on. We saw a big touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it what was 28-15 at the time. And this team is starting to put the pieces in place. It's not about year one, Francis. It's about the future of that program.
Yeah, it's about the future. They lost a lot of players, keep in mind, from that team before, from last year. So it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding process for Joe Licata in this Bill South program.
Finals all over Western New York. We'll run through them with you as we watch the ending of this Bennett-McDowell game in overtime. Bennett a chance to respond to the score of McDowell on the first drive of OT. Iroquois takes down Southwestern in a B1 versus C-South crossover. The final 31-14 in favor of the Chiefs there. Newfane loses to Medina in a C-North battle. The Mustangs take it 21-7. Will South, Will East, of course, 35-15 currently. Western New York Maritime, a 20-plus point victory over Grand Island. In an A3 matchup, I beg your pardon, Bennett and McDowell wrapping up here in overtime. Kenmore West loses to Sweet Home 41-28 as the Panthers start their year off with a victory. Just barely incomplete there. How about that? We're getting the live reaction as well. This is just a react cam and a flag. No flags, I beg your pardon. Thought there was a flag on that one. How about Orchard Park taking down Clarence 36-6? The final there. Clarence, not a challenge for that Orchard Park team. They've got this returner at quarterback and receiver that look to take over in Double-A, but they're going to have the Bennett Tigers and the Lancaster Legends in their way in Double-A as Legends took care of Jamestown 16-9 in the final from Lancaster.
All right, let's jump back into Norman Tom.
Fans here are getting loud. Shotgun. Davis takes a snap, throws, incomplete. Intended for Thomas. And it's going to be 4th and goal at the 9. Last chance here for Bennett. It almost got picked off by a Jackson, but it hit the ground before he was able to make the catch. So timeout's going to be called. We will take a quick break ourselves. 34-28 the score in favor of...
So a timeout in the Bennett-McDowell game before 4th and goal in overtime. Unbelievable stuff there, Francis. You talk about this Bennett team and how their coach McDuffie wanted to be more of a passing team this year, brought in a receiver, brought in some better players to block that passing attack, and they try it there on 3rd and goal in overtime and just come up a bit short.
Yeah, they tried a couple passes. Again, these were just right on the hands, but these McDowell defenders are making great plays. You have to throw the ball on a point against defenders like McDowell.
They've done it all game. McDowell has defended the pass well. It's been the run and the rushing attack of Bennett that they know, and that is their identity from years past that have got them to the point where they're at today, tied at 28 heading into overtime, and now 34-28 the score there. Here you see Will South and Will East. After the Billies throw a pick to the Flames, Will East will take over inside Will South territory and presumably just wind the clock down. We go back to McDowell.
Davis takes a snap. Here comes the rush. Rolling over to the left, looking, and he's sacked! He's sacked! And McDowell survives. They're going to win this game in overtime. Christian Lunger with the sack on Davis on 4th down, and the Trojans survive 34-28. Tom, what a finish!
Unbelievable game. Really unbelievable game. And, I'm going to tell you, Bennett, nothing to hang your head on here.
Oh, no. They took McDowell. They pushed them to the limit.
Between the bus ride down here that you had to experience, between the weather that you fought through, there are so many things that you fought through.
There you have it. McDowell, the Trojans, they hang on for victory, 34-28, in a game that they didn't have the lead in until this moment. They didn't lead at all game, and finally they take it over.
And you know what? This gut check time for Bennett. Remember their last game was a tough one. They lost in the state final. This one, an overtime one, they had the lead. Coach McDuffie, he's got to show these guys. Look, it's gut check time. You know, we lost 2 tough ones, but we know we're a good team. This is about now we got to finish games. Going forward, we got to finish games. It's not going to be easy every week. You have to play all 48 minutes.
Bennett was up 28-20 with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't hang on. Granted, that's no knock on the McDowell offense. McDowell was competitive all game, and they showed that they were worthy of this win here tonight, 34-28. But like you said, Bennett, you'd like to see him out of Section 6 hang on to this victory and bring home a big win that might have been the biggest of the year for them outside of their game in a couple weeks when they head to Ohio.
Yeah, I think so. And especially want to get started off McDowell team that a lot is known about. You know, they're akin to like a Canisius or St. Francis or St. Joe's here. So this program is no slouch by any means. They had a win over, I believe they faced Walsh Jesuit last week, or one of the top teams from Ohio who, our private schools generally face. I know Canisius lost to Walsh Jesuit earlier tonight. This McDowell team is no slouch. So nothing to hang your heads about if you're Bennett. You played a very good game against a very good team. Hopefully you can learn from this if you're Bennett and take this as you get ready for those state playoffs. I think, you're running it back to the state playoffs, and not to overlook anybody, but the rest of your schedule is about preparing for those state playoffs and preparing for the state championship.
We could see a good game in a few weeks. Friday the 16th, they head to, of course, Austin Finch in Ohio. But then the following week, Saturday at 1 o'clock, they head to Orchard Park on the 24th of September before coming home to play another non-league game, Western New York Maritime Health Sciences, who walloped Grand Island and the Vikings today on the road. The Falcons did. Bennett's got a tough schedule, but if there's any team that's going to roll over these teams, it's this Bennett team that we saw here today as we send you back to Will South trailing Williamsville East.
Yeah, we have about 1:20 left in that one. Will East with the lead. Will East making a statement win. This was a team, remember, they had a great offense. John Sansone, one of the top quarterbacks in the area, put up yards. I know there were a couple games where there was one game they were in a shootout. They scored 60 points in a game. The team could throw the ball very well. It was their defense that struggled, but their defense did pretty well. They had the pick six earlier, as we saw, and they hold Will South to 15 points.
So they will head to Hamburg next week. The Flames of Williamsville East will, before opening their home schedule on Friday the 16th against the Lumberjacks of North Tonawanda. So perhaps we'll have to keep an eye on Joe Kraus, as he had the call on this Week 1 game to share any secrets with his folks over in North Tonawanda for Week 3. But that will be the first home game of the year for Will East. Their fans will have to wait another week to see them back at home. It won't be until the last day of September. They'll play Ken West, then 3 home games in a row before heading to McKinley to wrap up the season. That's the full schedule for Williamsville East in a nutshell, so be sure to keep an eye on the Flames, as they've got a couple dogs on this roster. Dorian Fossen Jr., namely the main one, a captain, a senior at wide receiver, D-end. We saw him get time at running back as well today. He's a big player at 200 pounds, 6'2". Look out for him out of the backfield and out wide.
Yeah, they're going to be a very good team this year. Another final, I don't know if we got it in. St. Joe's gets the win 30-14 over Erie. So Marauders make a trip down to Pennsylvania, ends up much better than Bennett. It'll be a much better ride home for the Marauders than it is for the Bennett Tigers.
If you said that to anyone in Western New York 3 hours ago, St. Joe's will have a happy bus ride home and the Bennett Tigers will have their heads hanging, they'd say, okay, maybe Bennett. Well, I shouldn't say heads hanging. They played an incredible game down against a great McDowell team. But still, Bennett's going to have a much more solemn drive home, like you said. If you said that 3 hours ago, everyone would have laughed at you, Francis, and me included. But St. Joe's, they're not laughing at all. If anything, they're laughing at us saying that on the broadcast right now. But, hey, props to St. Joe's and the Marauders. They're going to be maybe a tough team to watch out for in Monsignor Martin. And right now, I'm sure they'd love that they've got bragging rights over the Canisius Crusaders. 1-0 is St. Joe's, 0-1 is Canisius. Granted, 2 non-league games against varied competition, but still, 1-0, 0-1, that's all they're going to talk about.
Yeah, you know what? And again, that's a statement win for the St. Joe's program. They got to be extremely thrilled. We talked about it. We had Adam Gorski write about them in our football report. What is this? I asked him, tell me what the state of St. Joe's football is. They've had a tough couple of seasons, but it looks like maybe they're turning a quarter. And, if you ever met Coach Corona, he's an easy guy to get behind. Mm-hmm. He's a very inspiring guy. And, I'm sure he's been waiting for the right time to get his kids to buy in. And now he's got that seal with that victory down there. That's good. And now he's putting St. Joe's back on the map, and they're going to be no slouch this year.
It helps for that buy-in, too. You get that Week 1 win, especially on the road. Talk about building team chemistry. Nothing like a 90-minute bus ride from a victory in Pennsylvania. Hey, maybe stop, get some Krispy Kreme on your way home, too, Coach. Probably on the way back, you head over. It's your last Krispy Kreme chance before you hit Dunkirk in Western New York coming up the 90. I want to take a second and go over to that game, Iroquois Southwestern. Justice Kleitz, his first start at quarterback after watching his brother play for the Chiefs last year at a tremendously high level all the way to the stadium. The Chiefs went last year. Iroquois takes down Southwestern 31-14 in that one quite handily as far as the final score says. They will head to Lakeshore next week to take on a 1-0 Lakers squad, 1-0 Eagles squad who we saw last night take down Dunkirk. These two teams should be quite competitive. I'm curious to see how that game plays out.
Frank Wolf was talking to the Iroquois staff over the summer. They said that the younger Justice Kleitz is at a higher IQ level now than his brother was at when he was that age. So obviously, he's a little bit younger, maybe not quite as physically developed, but brain-wise, they were pretty he was ahead in terms of time-wise, in terms of age. He was wise beyond his years, so they certainly have high expectations for him.
You wonder sometimes getting to watch the older brother play has to play an effect. You're watching him study the film. You're watching him practice his mental reps as well as his physical reps on and off the field. You're watching how he preps for a game and how he goes through a game and how he handles wins and losses and leading a team to the Highmark Stadium last year. All of that does prepare you mentally. You see a lot of that with these younger players, younger brothers and sisters of older players that come in and they say, well, watch out for the youngest. Watch out for the youngest. They're going to be the best of the three. Maybe that's just because I'm the youngest of three myself I'm saying that. But I do believe a lot of the times you hear these younger siblings that have watched their older siblings go through the system and go through the motions. They've got that experience, though they haven't played that experience, but they've seen it, and I think that's half the battle.
Well, and you could say that maybe the parents get all their mistakes out on the older ones,
there
too.
You go.
And now they're all set and perfect for the last one.
Well, we could have a discussion about that later as well. But, hey, we've got plenty of great final scores from across Western New York. We'll take a break one more time, and we'll come back after this, recap everything that we saw tonight, give you all the finals. We'll talk about what we've got on tap for tomorrow night for the final segment of the Friday night final drive right here on Western New York Athletics.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do
final scores of the night. We wrap up. What are some other finals?
About some final scores that you've got on tap.
Never, they didn't stop them. They were able to score 41 points. Very impressive. New quarterback taking over for the Panthers. Scores, we have Orchard Park. We just said 35-15. Will South. Lancaster defeats Jamestown 16-9. Medina 21-7 over Newfane. We have, I believe, we might have some stats in just a second. Maritime jumps up to A, shows they know exactly what they're doing. 39-0 winners over Grand Island. And then in game 7.
That's our McDowell-Bennett game.
Yeah, McDowell, yep. He's overtime 28. And then obviously OP defeats Clarence 36-13. That are some of our final scores.
So a couple more for you. We've got stats from Medina first off. How about Noah Skinner, the returning running back, sectional champion last season? 249 offensive yards and a touchdown for the Week 1 running back out of Medina. Aiden Pitts, his first start at quarterback, replacing the likes of Xander Payne, 156 yards and a pick. Caden Lilliaby outside, 46 yards, 2 touchdowns. JFK and the Bears go to triple overtime tonight as they went to Chautauqua Lake Westville Brockton in a C versus, I believe that's a C versus D matchup there. Chautauqua Lake Westfield Brockton out of D. They get the victory, Chautauqua Lake Westfield Brockton does, in triple overtime, 28-22. They go back and forth. Coach Lindsey Taylor said he lost a player halfway through. We'll look to see how that will play an effect in Class C for JFK. And outside of that, Tonawanda beats Eden 22-20. The Warriors win their first game in 2 years, going back to the COVID season. If they had a win in 2020, that spring 2021 season, we'll have to do some searching there on the last Tonawanda win. But a first-time head coach and 2 first-time head coaches getting wins today.
Yep, Coach Henry Fumarelli taking over that Warriors program. He had been really all around Western New York. Last stop was in North Tonawanda until he had an accident. We're going to have a story coming up on that, I think, this week in the Western New York Athletics Football Report. If it's not this week, it'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. So we'll have on that too.
We'll get any finals we've got left over there, Francis. If you've got anything, that's all I've got tracked down outside of the games that we had.
Yeah, last one I see is Olean 35-14 over Olean. Olean scored 35 unanswered points in that game. They were down 14-0 and scored 5 touchdowns.
East Aurora Holland couldn't close out. Talk about a team not able to close out. But that was, of course, 14-0 at the half. So 35, unbelievable comeback for Olean and the Huskies. We'll be down there, don't you worry, folks, in Olean later this year. Anything else you got that we left off the board? Of course, you can check all of our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube pages. All the updates. We'll have most of those scores and stats and things retweeted when we get them, or all that information you can find out all over Western New York Athletics. And tomorrow on Western New York Athletics, a loaded schedule as well. Francis, out of these 6 games that we'll have broadcast, pick 2 or 3 that really stand out to you tomorrow from 1 to 7 p.m.
All right, I want to start with the 1:30 game. Wilson CSP. Wilson moving down from Class C to Class D. They have to make the trip down there. But Wilson always has a strong program. They only return 2 starters, but never count out Coach Bill Atlas. They're going to have a good team. Of course, CSP, and this year they have a lot of brothers of those guys who won those state championships a couple of years ago, looking to make an impact now. And then also standing out is Randolph Salamanca, a matchup of 2 great running backs, Xander Hind from the Cardinals, and then Salamanca's Jesse Stallman, both key backs for their team. Those are the 2 games that really stick out to me on our Saturday schedule.
You might want to tune into that Randolph-Salamanca game early, because with 2-star running backs, it will be over in 90 minutes or less. So beware of the Randolph-Salamanca game. But as that one wraps up, you can tune into Lockport at Hamburg and Pioneer at Depew, also at 7. The only other games we didn't mention, North Tonawanda at West Seneca West at 2 o'clock and Newport-Lackawanna at 1. Francis, any closing thoughts?
My closing, I'm going to go back to that St. Joe's game. That's still in the front of my mind. Very impressive for the St. Joe's Marauders. You have a lot to be happy about. You took Westbrook by storm. I think your thought that you said it best. Bennett and St. Joe's go down to Erie. If I would have said 3 hours ago, St. Joe's would have the happy bus ride home, you'd be shocked. That's right. That's right. That's the story of the night, and of course the Bennett game going to overtime. That's going to be a tough bus ride home, but they have a lot to learn from that game, and McDowell is no slouch. They should definitely be proud of themselves for that kind of performance.
Well, we'll look to see what happens next week. And tomorrow, of course, before anything else, we have to see what goes down tomorrow as we wrap up Week 1 in Section 6 high school football here on Western New York Athletics. Glad you could join us here for Francis Beck, Jack Cruiser, everyone here helping out. We've got a game that was broadcast in the studios today. Folks running around all over the place. Heidi Gunther making it happen behind as well.
Yeah, the Jamestown Lancaster game is live right now. Should be live right now. Unfortunately, we had a slight issue. There is no audio on it, but you still see all our graphics. We have a couple of replays in there, so great one. I know we had a couple technical issues tonight with some of our broadcasts, but we should be all set for tomorrow through the first couple of weeks. Remember, this is week 1 for us, so we're still getting our feet wet as well. I thought tonight that went pretty well between the two of us with our new red zone angle. I know we've done the Friday night final drive in the past, but we treat it more like a post-game show. Tonight we decided to come on earlier and treat it more like a red zone style, getting true live look-ins at the games. You saw our 8 screens were up at once, and I was pretty happy with that.
Folks, if you liked the broadcast tonight, leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment, let us know. Share, absolutely, probably the biggest one is just let it play while you're sleeping. But seriously, though, let us know if you liked the broadcast, and be sure to give us your comments, as we appreciate all the feedback we get for sure. Always looking to improve here at WNY Athletics, bringing you the best high school sports coverage west of Rochester and north of, well, I guess we can include Erie, Pennsylvania in our coverage now from now on. We go down into the Pennsylvania borders after we covered this Bennett game tonight.
We haven't gone up into Canada.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just wait till we become an international company. You'll never hear the end of it from Frank Wolf, I'm sure. Folks, thank you for joining us here on the Friday night final drive. For Francis Beck, I'm Jack Cruiser. We'll see you next week.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
With exclusive buyer insights and our 100% money-back guarantee, we're confident we'll find buyers for your home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.